Racing action set to begin here at SpeedFest 2013, Watermelon Capital Speedway. Joining me up here in the booth is Mark Keeler. I'm Adam Mackey. Matt Preer down on pit road for the first of two races on this Sunday afternoon. The Premier Building Systems 100 at Watermelon Capital Speedway. Mark, what a great field of cars we have on hand. The drivers, 5 of those doing double duty today. But we have just a handful of drivers in each race starting in the top 10 that can win. Then you go beyond the top 10 spots. We've got a lot of drivers back there that could come through the field and make themselves a threat to claim victory later today.
And definitely some dark horses there, as you mentioned, back in the pack. You got some drivers with some veterans back on the toolbox calling the shots here this weekend, helping them out for all 100 laps here for the JEGS CRA Pro late models. But also you got guys back there that finished good here back in October. Matthew Ragg starting back in the 21st starting spot, a 5th place finish here back in October with the JEGS CRA series. So definitely some dark horses further on back in the pack, but they're going to have their work cut out for them with those top 10 cars up there.
One thing different about SpeedFest 2013 than what we've seen in the past, the caution flag laps will not count today. It will be all green flag laps, counting towards the finished number of circuits of 300 here today. Matt Preer down on pit road, keying in his microphone. How's it going down there, Matt?
Going very well. I'm excited to say the least. SpeedFest 2013, the official kickoff of the new season here throughout our beloved country. So overall, during the course of the weekend, 65 teams between the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour presented by Chevrolet Performance as well as the ARCA CRA Super Series. But first things first, a 100-lapper for the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour. Youngest driver in the field, youngest driver to ever attempt to take a green flag in JEGS CRA competition, 12-year-old Harrison Burton, the son of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver Jeff Burton, just 12 years old. He will start outside the 5th row in this 100-lapper.
Thank you very much, Matt Preer down on pit road. One thing I find ironic today is normally you think of the pro late models having the younger drivers in the starting field. Today we have 4 drivers under the age of 18 in the JEGS race, the pro late model race first. That's not bad, but when you look at the Super Series race running second today, 8 drivers under the age of 18, so maybe reverse of what you would normally see at an event. The younger drivers, more of them coming from the Super Series portion of today's SpeedFest 2013.
And it seems like every year that you come out to start a new season, you see more and more of those teenage drivers. Matt Preer mentioned Harrison Burton has actually had some good practice runs all weekend in that pro late model. Had one little incident yesterday where he got around here on the front stretch, but was in the top 10 pretty much in speeds all weekend long in that pro late model. So look for some good things there out of young Harrison Burton throughout 2013.
Saw a great race in the pro event last year, picked up by Chase Elliott. Mike Garvey finished second. Daniel Hemrick was third. Bubba Pollard was fourth. And Kyle Plott finished 5th a year ago for the JEGS CRA All-Stars Tour presented by Chevrolet Performance.
And 4 of your top 5 from last year are right up there in the front in the top 8, ready to take the green here in just a few short laps. They continue to pace behind the CRA pace vehicle around this gorgeous facility. Kyle Bryant and Cody Coughlin scrubbing off those tires. Lights still on the pace truck, so just a few more caution laps, and we'll be ready to go green here for the first event of SpeedFest 2013.
Gave you the top 8 in our starting lineup. Alex Roberts starting 9th, just missed the invert of 8. Harrison Burton, the 12-year-old son of Jeff Burton, starting 10th. Jared Foley starts 11th. Jake Griffin starts 12th. Brandon Johnson starting 13th. Justin Ashburn 14th, and Corey Rubel in position number 15.
And I think Brandon Johnson, you mentioned starting 13th, the driver out of Longwood, Florida. He's going to be one of those guys to keep your eyes on. He takes his car out of the shop maybe 4 or 5 times a year at best, and it seems like he's got that car in victory lane almost every single time out. Johnson's most recent start was a win down at New Smyrna Speedway in the Governor's Cup, the pro late model portion back in November. He said about the 6th quickest time the other day in practice, and when we talked to him down in the pit area, he was extremely disappointed with that 41 car, trying to find extra speed. He's going to start in the 13th starting spot, so Brandon Johnson, one of those guys outside the top 10 that you're going to have to keep your eyes on here today.
Alan Gordon starting in the 16th position. Mason Massey starting 17th. David Hodges 18th. Eric Stokes 19th. Marty Wood in the 20th starting spot. Matthew Ragg starting 21st. T.W. Fisher starting 22nd. Shane Nally is 23rd. Kevin Herbert 24th. And Joe Anderson is 25th. The rest of the field, Tom Schutte 26th. Eric Gershak 27th. Kyle McCollum 28th. Rodney Benefield 29th. Chris McKeon 30th. And the final two starters in today's field, Joe Ross in the 27, Ronnie Whitlock in the 12W.
Yeah, we see the pace truck now pulling off on the backstretch, so looking possibly for green this time, trying to see the starter stand if they got the green flag out, take it away, Adam.
And we are. Green flag is out. We're underway for the Pro Late Model portion of SpeedFest 2013. Premier Building Systems 100 and Cody Coughlin, the Jake's #1, rockets into the lead.
Hey, Cody Coughlin, a great jump. One car off the track, down the backstretch, comes across. We've got trouble in the back. Jake Griffin going around. Couple cars getting caught up, and the caution flag going to fly here with 0 laps complete.
Justin South in the 43 got off of the backstretch asphalt, kicked up some dirt. Cars started to check up, and the 08, the youngster from Quincy, Illinois, Jake Griffin, a spin on the back straightaway. 2 more cars involved on the inside of our backstretch. Caution flag is out for the first time, as well as Coughlin pick up the space. Turn number 4, and the green flag is out. They're underway. This time a better restart for Brian heading down into the first corner. But Cody Coughlin in the #1, a half-car length advantage off of 2. Brian fights back, middle of the backstretch. He's the leader.
And battle for lead now down into turns 3 and 4. It's going to be Brian by half a car length. They stay stacked up, the top 4. It's Garvey down on the inside for second. Kyle Bryant all by himself out front. Garvey now and Coughlin side by side for second.
Race leader, lap #1 complete. Navarre, Florida's Kyle Bryant. He's the leader, heads to turn 3. Single file behind him. It's Mike Garvey in second. Now a battle for third. Grindle drops to the inside of Coughlin.
And in the early going of a long race, Dalton Grindle almost making some contact there with Cody Coughlin. He was pushing the nose in there hard in 3 and 4. He's going to settle in for the 4th spot. They're side by side back behind him. For 5th, it's going to be Hunter Robbins. And the Ronnie Sanders #18, he's going to move into the top 5.
Hunter Robbins up into the 5th spot in the Grindle in the #23 on the inside lane. Racing with Cody Coughlin for the 3rd position. Coughlin and backpedaling now. Had to check up coming off of the corner. Some near contact with Grindle to the inside. Hunter Robbins, the 18, looking for 4th already.
And the next side-by-side battle back behind him, it's going to be that 12-year-old, the young one, Harrison Burton. He's side-by-side trying to hold on to that top 10 spot. He's now going to pull into 9th over car number 98 down the backstretch. As the top 10 now single file through the field. Mike Garvey now your leader, this time by
5 laps completed the stripe, and it is Garvey, the veteran, out front in the lead. In trouble in turn number 4. Off the banking goes Schutte. Other car involved, the 5 in down there on the outside lane. Shane Nally, the 61 of Fisher. He pulls away from the scene. 3-car mishap in turn number 4 brings out the yellow with 5 laps in to the scheduled 100 for this Premier Building System 100 for SpeedFest 2013. Again, Schutte, the only car not moving at this point. He's down far off of the banking in the grass. The 5 in of Nally stopped up along the outside lane, and Fisher is moving at the back of the field again. Looks to be minor damage, if any at all, to those vehicles. Good news today, Mark, is that the #1 car on this restart, Cody Coughlin, gets the inside lane. Previous restart on the outside, and he got shuffled back into the number 5 spot. Garvey, the leader. Bryant running second. They bring the field back to green. 3 laps complete, 97 to go in this Premier Building Systems 100 for Watermelon Capital Speedway. Bryant slips back in the second groove, and here comes Grindle for the lead to the inside of Garvey, heading to turn 3. Great restart for Grindle. Good restart as well for Coughlin. He battles for 3rd. Bryant closes the door, and Coughlin has to check up.
And right,
number 4 complete.
Right behind Cody Coughlin, here comes our fast qualifier, Bubba Pollard, in that 42 car. So he's running just outside the top 5 now, as they're side-by-side up in front of him, and that's going to be Coughlin and Hunter Robbins side-by-side for the 4th spot. Your leader still, Dalton Grindle in the number 23. Garvey dropping back to 2nd. We see an interesting line coming off of turn number 4 with these cars. They spread out, look like they're almost going to go 3 wide. Then they stay double file down the front stretch. Down into turn number 1, though, it's going to be Grindle again with Garvey right on his tail for the lead.
Grindle setting a torrid pace. He and Garvey pulling away from the 3rd place competitor, the 79 of Bryant. And Garvey running a tighter lane, coming off of 2, gets to the bottom of Grindle. Down the backstretch, they race into 3. Grindle gives Garvey room. Door to door, they head to 4.
And just 7 laps complete now. Grindle able to hold him off from the high side. Perhaps that game of momentum here at this short track, as Grindle's going to be your leader, watching a good run back in the back. Bubba Pollard already up. He was scored in the 5th spot last time by. Now he's going to be behind Justin South back there. And right behind him, Chase Elliott now. He's going to move that number 9 car into the picture as we exit turn number 4 now. 8 laps complete.
The Jigs.com number 1 of Cody Coughlin started on the front of the field on the outside of row number 1. He has slipped back to the tail end of the top 10 in that outside lane. His car not handling to his liking maybe at this point of the race, as we're single file throughout much of the field. Our first battle sees Harrison Burton in the number 12 racing on the inside of Ashburn's 98.
And just saw Corey Rubel completely sideways out of turn number 4. He was a 6th place finisher here last year in the Pro Late Model portion. He's trying to get down to the inside of Coughlin. Coughlin slams the door in turn number 3.
Your leader, Dalton Grindle, the driver from Flowery Branch, Georgia, the Jim Waters Motor Company. Grindle Motorsports Chevrolet is running a unique groove. As he comes out of turn 4, his car pushes high up along the outside retaining wall, but he's able to keep his momentum up and somehow hold off Garvey, who's running right along the bottom.
Garvey's keeping that car pinched down off the corners. We've got caution on the Speedway. Cannot see what it's for as of yet. 11 laps complete, but now after the caution, some trouble down in turn number 4 with Eric Stokes in the number 8 car.
Eric Stokes has come to a stop in turn number 4, but the caution is for the number 12 on the back straightaway. Ronnie Whitlock stopped along the inside retaining wall on the backstretch, but his caution then results in a 2-car mishap over in turn number 4.
And Whitlock in that number 12 car bringing out the yellow. He had some problems early in practice yesterday. A brand new motor in that number 12 car. They unloaded it, took about a half a dozen laps, and a bad oil leak developed. They were able to get it fixed and get back out for some practice laps, but not a great qualifying effort for Whitlock. Not to his liking. Had to start towards the tail end of the field. Was just kind of riding around there in the opening laps. As he brings out the yellow, he's going to get some assistance. Meanwhile, we've got 1 car making its way down on pit road.
Sam Pierce Chevrolet CRA pace truck has dropped to the infield. Grindle and Garvey starts to pick up the pace. They head to turn 3. They bring the field to turn 4.
And green flag in the air, and it's a great start for Grindle. Garvey, though, going to hold his own on the high side. They go down into turn 1. They're going to battle wheel to wheel. The entire field still double file behind him off the back stretch. Down it's going to be Grindle with a half a car length advantage as they hit turn 3. And Kyle Bryant now dips the nose of the 79 in there from 3rd.
Kyle Bryant on the inside lane, running 3rd. His car looks strong. It actually started to run the lead duo down before the caution came out. Number 1 car of Garvey trying to close the door to hang on to 2nd. He will be able to do just that. Single file formation. Top 2 competitors. Here comes Justin South in the 43.
And South, a great run on the high side of Bryant. Bryant gets a little squirrely that time in turn number 4. It's going to be Justin South now pulling up into the 3rd spot. So Kyle Bryant dropping back to 4th in a side-by-side battle for 5th. This is the 42 of Pollard down low. The number 9 of Chase Elliott is on the high groove.
Our top 2 qualifiers, Pollard picking up that Hammer Race Engines top qualifier award this weekend. Chase Elliott just missed it. He was top qualifier for most of the qualifying session, but Pollard went late. But Chase Elliott has moved into the top 5 via the outside lane.
And another car staying on the high side. It's going to be the 41 of Brandon Johnson. We mentioned him in the open. He's going to be one of the cars to watch here. He's inside the top 10 now. He's battling with the Corn Whiskey Machine for the 9th spot.
Alan Gordon running on the inside lane. On the outside lane is Johnson. Running deep in the top 10. They go single file now as Johnson will try his hand at the inside groove.
Johnson like gum on the bottom of Gordon's shoe. He cannot get him off. He's stuck right to the back bumper now. Gordon down into turn 1. They put a little bit of room between them. The entire field now going to be single file. Further on back, though, Hunter Robbins now going to start making his way back up from the back of the pack as he pulls a move now down into turn 3.
See how the cars handle on this longer green flag run. This the longest we've seen today. We're now at 18 laps complete, and here comes Garvey to the bottom. Great run off of turn number 2, and Garvey pulls wheel to wheel with Grindle. Turn 3 for the lead.
It looked like Garvey didn't even tap the brakes going into turn number 3. He pulled up alongside. He's got a 3/4 car length advantage now down into turn 1. Garvey's been using that low line, that real tight line through the corners since the start of this race. Grindle using the high side. They stay side by side into turn 3, and it's going to be Justin South looking on from the 3rd spot.
Grindle running well in that 2nd groove. Garvey, though, trying to clear him. He goes down into turn 1. Grindle enters heavy. Car sticks pretty well to the 2nd lane. Loses half a car length off of turn number 2. Garvey pulls ahead and has now cleared Dalton Grindle for the number 1 spot. Grindle goes bumper to bumper with him in 4.
Andrews behind him. Justin South putting the pressure on Grindle. Grindle not heeding the advice of his crew. Makes a little contact with Garvey. That time in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Garvey sideways. Now it's going to be Grindle down to the inside. Side by by side into turn 3 for the lead.
He wanted the lead back, and he's got it back. Flowery Branch, Georgia driver Dalton Grindle back in P1.
Right behind him, Garvey going to tuck in line. We saw some contact with Grindle in Garvey in turn 1 the last time by. It was Grindle getting into Garvey. So far, no other contact. Meanwhile, one car off the pace down the front stretch is going to be the number 8 of Eric Stokes.
Stokes has had a rough day today, and it looks like he will be heading pit side, running on the low side. Off of turn 2, spotters making their drivers aware. They'll be coming up on him as he goes all the way down to the wall. Well out of the way. We stay under green. We have completed 23, make it 24 this time at the line. And it is Dalton Grindle leading the way. Here comes Garvey again to the bottom.
And Grindle and Garvey were able to put some distance between themselves and Justin South back there in the 3rd spot. About 2 car lengths separating them. Garvey continues to try and use that tight line coming off of turn 4. Keeps the nose down to the inside of Grindle, but so far he's not able to get up alongside.
Goes all the way out to the wall. The highest exit of any driver in this field is Grindle in the 23. Everyone else about a full car length lower width-wise than he is, and he exits way too high. Coming out of 2, drops 2 tires off the banking. Somehow he keeps the lead.
And the dirt tornado down the backstretch kicked up by Grindle, but Garvey is not going to be able to take advantage. Garvey actually lost some ground on that one, so Dalton Grindle may have found something in the outside lane here. As you said, Adam, the only driver taking that high lane off of turn number 4 and again off of turn number 2. Meanwhile, further on back in the pack, Hunter Robbins going to pull off another spot down into turn number 3.
So deep in the field is Hunter Robbins. He'll need a couple of yellows and double file restarts to gain enough positions to compete for a top 5 today. He is making his way forward, but it gets tougher as you go. Corey Rubel, he's making it inside lane pass on top qualifier Bubba Pollard.
And Corey Rubel and Pollard battling for that 6th spot. They're going to stay side by side. Now it's Pollard. He's going to try that high groove. Problems for Grindle up front.
I heard his car popping as he entered turn number 1. Problems mechanically for Dalton Grindle, the race leader. Hands the lead to Mike Garvey. Grindle turning the car left and right up in the outside lane of turn number 4. Hunter Robbins looks like he's losing a spot deep in the field again. Grindle riding down the front straightaway, waving his hand out the window. Car's going to the low side. Terrible break from the driver from Flowery Branch, Georgia.
And it's going to be interesting to see if Grindle's going to be able to make his way back to the pits. We stay under green. Now caution's going to fly with 29 laps complete. So the lead handed over to Mike Garvey. And Dalton Grindle, as we said, not heeding the advice of his crew on that last restart. They told him stay patient. If Garvey gets a shot, let him go. But perhaps Grindle knew that his time was fleeting here in that lead car, in that number 23 car. As you said, Adam, the motor popped down into turn 1. He was off the pace by the time they exited turn 2.
There was no hint of smoke, no hint of any problems for the 23 of Grindle, but as he entered turn number 1, could hear a couple of pops come from it like an ignition issue. South on the outside, lagging back about a half a car length, maybe trying to get a run on Garvey. That run won't happen. Garvey pulls away on the green flag waving of chief starter Brian Duncan into turns 1 and 2. Garvey in the lead. South still fighting on the outside lane. Up the banking they go, right along the edge of the racetrack. Kyle Bryant looks for the runner-up spot.
And another great restart for the 79 of Bryant. That time out of turn 2, it looked like he was actually the first car in the field to get on the gas. Was able to battle with South for second, but now South has found something on the high side. He's going to lead Mike Garvey by half car length out of turn 2, down the backstretch and into 3.
Meanwhile, 4-car battle now takes way in the top 4. Chase Elliott to the inside of Kyle Bryant for 3rd, but up front, Justin Thau leads his 2nd lap in a row. 32 complete.
So South now using that high lane that Dalton Grindle was driving, maybe not quite as high, but definitely higher than that tight lane of Garvey. Meanwhile, it's going to be Chase Elliott. We said he'd be a contender. He pulls into 3rd on the low side of Bryant. Now on the high side, it's going to be Bubba Pollard alongside Bryant for 4th.
Drivers might be finding something in that 2nd lane right now. The number 42 car to the outside. Pollard, who was really sluggish on the last green flag run, is running well now up into the 4th spot. And off the track goes Griffin. Spins her around on the back straightaway. Keeps it from going back onto the asphalt too far. Everyone able to avoid joining that mishap, and caution out for a solo car spin by Jake Griffin, the 14-year-old driver on the back straightaway.
And Griffin's gone around a couple times this weekend back there. It's real tricky when they come off a 2. Talk to a couple drivers. They like to keep those tires just on the edge of the asphalt. That's where they're going to be quickest. But if you get just a little too far over by an inch or 2, those wheels drop off the asphalt back there, and it just turns the car around. But you got to tip your hat there to Jake Griffin. A great job when that car was spinning to keep it from coming back on the track and collecting anybody else in the mess back there. Let's not forget that Justin South car. That's the car that tipped the right sides off the backstretch on the initial green flag. flag, bringing out that first caution. So they're side by side down the backstretch. Pace truck pulls in as we're set to go green this time out of turn number 4.
1/3 of this mark complete as we have 33 laps in and 67 to go. We are back underway. Turn number 4 as Justin South leads the field to turn 1. Good restart. Chase Elliott to the inside lane. He won't stop there. He'll go for the lead. He's taken second from Garvey. Looks for the number 1 spot on the inside of South.
Chase Elliott looking for the three-peat, most recent 2-time winner in the Pro Late Model Series portion of SpeedFest as he looks for the lead. Not going to do it this time. Justin South now has a car length advantage. He has found something, not quite on the high groove of Grindle, but not in the low groove of Garvey. He's running right in the middle as they exit the corners. Meanwhile, look right behind him. On the high side, it's going to be Bubba Pollard looking for third over Mike Garvey.
Really don't understand the one green flag run from Pollard today where he really started to fade. The car didn't look to be up to speed, but it is right now. He's in 4th. He's been closing on the 1 of Garvey, the 9 of Elliott, and Garvey actually challenging now for that second position.
Garvey, a great run out of turn number 4. He slings the car sideways to try and keep it on the inside. He's going to be door-to-door with Elliott for the second spot. Out of turn number 2, it's going to be half a car length now for Garvey as they enter turn 3, and that's going to leave the inside open for Bubba Pollard. Pollard now down to the inside of Elliott. That's going to be the battle for third as Justin South has opened up the advantage 6 to 7 car lengths now.
Elliott actually slowed a little bit because Garvey took his lane away in the outside lane, middle of the back stretch, wheel to wheel now for third. Top 2 qualifiers going at it. It's Pollard taking the 3rd spot away from Chase Elliott.
And right behind them, Corey Rubel sticking his nose in there in the number 66 car. This is actually Kyle Bryant's going to be behind him. This is the furthest back that Bryant machine has slipped. Up front, meanwhile, Justin South with the biggest lead we've seen on the day. But look who's coming quick. Mike Garvey is closing that gap on Justin South. Garvey's got a quick machine here in the open. We're still shy of the halfway point. Just about 11 laps till we get there.
Arguably the fastest car on the racetrack right now is that of Headland, Alabama driver Corey Rubel. Started this race in the 15th position. Rubel in the top 5 is up to 4th. He challenges Elliott for 3rd.
And Bubba Pollard just has to look on as Rubel took the spot on the inside. Now he's going to go side by side with Elliott for the 3rd spot. But Elliott with that momentum you saw just there in the middle of turn 2 coming off the backstretch. Elliott used that momentum to be able to pull in front of Rubel, but down into turn 3 heavy on the brakes. It's going to be Rubel back to the inside out of turn 4.
41 laps complete in the schedule running of this Premier Building Systems 100 at Watermelon Capital Speedway. The first of 2 races today. Coming up later, SpeedFest 200 for the Super Series of ARCA and CRA. Leading this pro late model race is Justin South in the 43.
Justin South continues to hold a substantial advantage. It's going to be about 6 to 7 car lengths now separating your top 3 cars, South, Garvey, and Rubel. As Chase Elliott now, he's going to fall back just a touch. And we've got a car way off on the backstretch and down into the watermelon patch. Looks like it's the number 5 car as we'll double check that. Caution is out with 43 laps complete.
Caution flag out. Monroe, Georgia driver Alex Roberts locking him up. And I think he got him locked up just in time to keep him from damaging the car badly. Maybe even trying to back up. I think he's partway down into maybe the creek that runs along the property back there.
And then we saw Justin South doing it again. South not quite as high as the Grindle machine. He's running probably about a middle groove, but Bubba Pollard's used the high line now too. Adam, we're going to be going back to green this time out of turn 4 South, trying to get a little bit of a jump there on Garvey.
South and Garvey side by side. Good restart turn 4. We are back underway. Garvey leads the field by a few inches heading into turn number 1. 42 laps into the scheduled 100 today. Double wide through the field, 3 wide near the tail end of the top 10. Caught in the middle as Cody Coughlin checks up in 3.
It's Alan Gordon and fully splitting the difference. Trouble though further on back in the pack. Ashburn goes around. The 08 of Griffin goes around. Shooty going to drive off the backstretch, as does the number 2 car of McCullum. So a bunch of cars involved there. It looked like what spearheaded that one was Ashburn going around in the 98. Thankfully, no other contact. Not having a wall here in turns 3 and 4 is actually benefiting quite a few of these cars. They have some room to get around everything.
Oh, if this place had wall all the way around, there would be disastrous wrecks here at Watermelon Capital Speedway. One of the best things they have done is not have the wall coming from the end of turn 1 all the way to turn number 4.
The other guys to watch that's gotten great restarts. That 79 of Bryant starting on the outside of row number 3. Every time they take the green down in turn 2, Bryant's hard on that gas and battling for position before the car fades a little bit on the green flag runs. The leaders now into turn 3 looking for green out of turn number 4.
South and Garvey bring them in. Second row of Rubel and Elliott wheel to wheel. We go to turn number 1, and Garvey a pretty good restart in the outside lane, but South uses his momentum. Goes up the banking a little bit in turn number 2. He leads by a nose to turn 3.
And Garvey, a great start on that high side. He's gonna challenge South now out of turn number 4. They touched it. Garvey really likes that tight line out of turn number 4. Looked like he wanted to push South a little bit out of his comfort zone out of turn number 4 and keep that car pinned down to the inside. So far, South not liking that lane, as it's going to be Garvey, your new leader, from the high side into turn 3. Behind him, Corey Rubel just kind of looking on now, trying to figure out who he wants to follow.
Bubba Pollard had a great run coming off of turn 4 that time. Scoots by Chase Elliott on the inside lane. Elliott drops back into line, and up front, Mike Garvey has cleared Justin South. He continues to try to get back to the inside lane, and right now Garvey is giving him some room.
Garvey giving South some room. He doesn't necessarily have a choice off of turn 4, as South had that nose right underneath the number 1 car. Now we've seen Garvey likes that inside lane, not able to use it right now, so that's not going to allow him to get any kind of comfort on Justin South's machine. South a great run, but now look at Corey Rubel. He dives to the high side in turn 3, trying to help out Garvey.
Trouble mid-pack. Around goes Fisher in the 61 car. Other cars trying to avoid, trying not to pile in. Very limited damage. One car that has gone around. Get this, folks. It's Jake Griffin in the 08. He is spun. The 27 of Joe Ross gets his car turned around as well. Both will be able to continue. Limited damage, if any at all, to our competitors in this one. Started mid-pack, and the 61 of Fisher loops a car middle of the backstretch. Not happy with one of his fellow competitors is the driver of car number 61, T.W. Fisher, as he has turned the 129 of Matthew Ragg around. He liked it out there. He knew that South is strong out there, so he has chosen the outside lane, and South goes to the inside, but South has been pretty good down there as well.
And perhaps that was what we saw earlier when Grindle chose the inside after running the high line so well, so maybe not even wondering about their own cars, but trying to keep the other guy from getting in his preferred line.
46 complete, 54 to go. 4 from the halfway mark. Green flag waving. Turn number 4. South on the bottom. Garvey on the outside. Great restart for Garvey. At a few feet advantage when the green waved, and he's got the lead in turns 1 and 2.
And that's probably one of the best restarts we've seen, where a car was able to pull out and take the lead with no questions asked out of turn 2, as it was Garvey. Now look on the high side for the second spot. Once again, back into contention, the 42 of Bubba Pollard.
Pollard's highest running position of the day. The top qualifier started 8th. He's been in the top 5 for a while, dropped back slightly, and right now is running 3rd. Outside of South for the number 2 position is Bubba Pollard.
Now South with a run down to the inside of Garvey, and one car way off the track down the backstretch. And we're going to be under green for the moment as a side-by-side battle for the lead. The 22 car still off the backstretch as we're looking for yellow. Now the caution coming out as the leaders race down the backstretch. South and Garvey were side-by-side for the lead. It'll be interesting to see how they score that one, as they were side-by-side at the start-finish line. The caution car looks like it's going to be Kevin Herbert. And I didn't see what happened. Adam, looked like you saw it out of 2.
47 complete, green waving this time. Again, another good restart for Garvey. South tries to stay to the inside. They head to turn 1. They are, and now up into the wall, just scrubbing it on the front stretch. Joel Anderson in the 51. They continue on and trying to see if the track is clear, and 3 wide towards the end of the top 5. Bryant gets shuffled back in the 79.
And that was Florida's Brandon Johnson pulling into, or just outside the top 5. He's going to be in the 6th spot as him and Foley took the Bryant machine side by side. A flurry of activity here in the back of the pack. Cars all over the place.
If that's what you want to call it. Side by side, coming off of turn number 4, wheel to wheel. They race for the number 1 position. South on the inside. On the outside at the 1 of Garvey, dropping off the pace, heading to the pits. Ashburn's number 98.
Now watching Chase Elliott. He just got past the Corey Rubel machine. Going to try putting the pressure on Bubba Pollard up front. Those leaders are driving awfully tight with all these laps left to go. They're not giving any room.
Joe Ross in the 27 has put his car in the outside lane. He's racing with Cody Coughlin. They're just out of the top 10. Field starts to spread out all the way around Watermelon Capital Speedway in top qualifier. Bubba Pollard to the outside for 2nd.
And you just mentioned that 27 car. He just got sideways in turns 3 and 4 and lost about 3 spots. I'm watching an interesting battle right now between Foley, Gordon, Hunter Robbins, and the 79 of Kyle Bryant. All 4 of those cars battling for position inside the top 10. Harrison Burton trying to put his car there, and here comes Cody Coughlin in the number 1 machine.
Single file, top four, and a little bit of a breakaway over the fifth place car of Corey Rubel. And South again mounts another challenge at Mike Garvey. South to the inside of Garvey, heading to 3. Garvey drives it deep into the third corner, stays ahead. He will lead across the line at lap 53.
And Mike Garvey is definitely keeping that car on the high side. So losing a little bit in the middle of the corners, but coming off, that's where he's able to keep that momentum. Justin South not able to get him alongside. He puts the nose in there right at the middle of the corner, but not able to do anything more than that. Maybe a little bit of contact that time out of turn 4 for the lead.
Boy, how the mentality has changed during the course of the race today. Early on, everybody was trying to get to the bottom, and now people know that the outside lane is pretty good, and that's why Garvey's been sticking his car out there. Earlier in the race, he chose the inside on restarts, now choosing the outside.
And Bubba Pollard tried the high line that time on South down into turn number 3, but South had the same idea. They got together. Pollard had to get hard on the brakes and slid the car up. Doesn't lose any spots. He's back there in third. Keeps it glued right to the back bumper of South this time. Now down in turn 3. They've got about a 2-car length cushion on 4th place, the number 9 of Chase Elliott.
And Corey Rubel makes it a 5-car battle at the front of the field. Running by himself in the number 6 spot is Brandon Johnson. Back several car lengths to 7th place battle between the 04 of Foley, the 29 of Gordon, and the number 18 of Hunter Robbins. Side by side for 7th.
And they stay side by side now through turn 4. Gordon's car drifts up the racetrack. Foley on that high side. He's going to have the momentum as he maintains the spot. Interesting up front as another car off the backstretch. It's going to be McCullum in the number 2. That's going to cause the leader to get on the brakes. Justin South makes contact. Pollard going to take advantage. He goes to the high side of South for second. Now to the high side of Garvey for the lead.
Pollard outside of Garvey in turn number 1, but a caution might be coming soon. The 2 of McCollum was moving, then he came to a stop off of the banking, and that will bring out a yellow caution flag coming out for the number 2 of McCollum. It gave him plenty of time to get back moving again and get onto the raceway, but after he was moving, he came to a stop in turn 3 and does initiate a caution yellow flag out with 58 laps in, and McCollum, the car mysteriously does fire up again and gets back onto the raceway. Very well could be setting up for a long green flag run here shortly. Usually what happens in a race like this, the first half of the race may be caution filled, caution plagued, but then eventually down the stretch you see a 20 or 30 lap run. That could happen to us today, or maybe it won't. But nonetheless, we've seen some great racing under green. Currently the 1 of Garvey leads, but now he has Bubba Pollard, the top qualifier this weekend, on the inside lane as we are ready for yet another restart.
And for the 3rd time, Mike Garvey choosing the high line for this restart. Pollard down to the inside. Road number 2 is going to be Elliott and South side by side. They make their way into turn number 4. Starter looks him over. Green flag in the air out of turn number 4. A great restart for Garvey again on the high side. Look at Elliott. He threads the needle now. He's going to pull up into the high lane in that 4th spot. They're going to be 3 wide now. Corey Rubel takes him 3 wide down the backstretch, and Elliott come together.
And Rubel able to save it. Looked like he was going to spin towards the infield. Contact behind them. Still in the right direction. Leading lap number 59 is Mike Garvey. But it's wicked battles at the front of the field. The 42 of Pollard still fighting on the low side.
Probably 8 positions just changed hands in the top 8. All 8 that time with the exception of the lead. Mike Garvey hangs on to it on the high side. Got a great restart. Not sure what happened with Pollard's machine coming up the speed. Now he's got Justin South and Corey Rubel. The top 4 now are pancakes together down the backstretch.
And Rubel again, the benefactor of that restart, was able to pick up a spot, went 3 wide with Elliott. He thought better of being in the middle of that sandwich. Checked up going into 3, dropped back to 5th. He knows there's still a long way to go. He's got a good car running in the 5th spot. Johnson's closed. It's a 6-car battle up front. Little breakaway, and then look who has just moved into 7th. Hunter Robbins, after that early pit stop to change a flat left front tire.
And you absolutely called it, Adam, about 4 cautions ago. You said Robbins could use those cautions and those restarts to pick off positions, and that is exactly what he's done. A smart race for Hunter Robbins so far in the 18. He's got some pressure from Jared Foley.
Ooh.
He's going to be on the high side now. What do you got, Adam?
Oh, the 66 of Rubel bonsai'd into turn number 3 because Elliott was fighting to the low side. He checked up. The car really got sideways. He saved it. Elliott's still fighting. Pollard slips up. Here comes South for second. Justin South back into the 2nd position as Pollard kind of missed turn number 2 a little bit that lap.
And interesting, Mike Garvey actually gave up just a little bit on the low side. Pollard tried sticking the nose down in there and then tried to get to the high side. He got a little too wide out of turn number 2, and that's what allowed South to get a run to the inside. Corey Rubel right behind him. He got a little high that time out of turn 2.
He absolutely did, and Johnson right there behind him in the number 6 spot. The leader, Mike Garvey, has a 2-car battle in his rear rear view mirror. The 43 of South, the 42 of Pollard, and in front of him he has the 08 of Griffin, dropping a couple of tires off the banking. Griffin ready to go down a lap, down in 3 and 4. Will he go high? Will he go low? They're closing quickly. Garvey, the leader, has South sideways behind him. They complete at the line, number 66.
And it's going to be tense here down into turn 1. All the leaders now getting by Jake Griffin to the high side. Griffin doing a great job of keeping that car pinned down low. So far, the top 7 or 8 cars able to make their way by to the high side. Corey Rubel, though, going to take advantage. He drops to the inside of Elliott now out of turn 4.
Elliott's momentum in that outside lane, though, keeping him in the number 4 position. Chase Elliott running 4th. And the Aaron's number 9. Single file up front, but the field really starting to close on one another. Can't count anybody out in this race yet. South is there. To the inside of Garvey. Turn number 4, battle again for the lead.
And the one thing we've seen, Mike Garvey not able to open up a substantial advantage out in the front, as Justin South did earlier. Now they're going to go side by side, door to door for the lead. Problems for the Jake Griffin car further on back in the pack. A few cars getting together. Now Burton pushes him off the backstretch as he still remains a lap down.
It has been an adventurous day for a lot of drivers in the field, but none more adventurous than for the 08 of Griffin. And we've got the 22 sideways and on the edge of the racetrack in 3 and 4. It's going to bring out a yellow. It is for the number 22 of Kevin Herbert, and that was a decent green flag run. And wow, did we see some amazing racing in our top 10 positions.
Unbelievable when they came to the green. I don't know what Chase Elliott saw down there, but nobody else on the racetrack saw it. It was just the slightest bit of an opening, and he went from the inside to the outside.
South on the inside, Garvey on the outside. Row number 2, Pollard and Elliott. Row number 3, Rubel and Johnson. At row number 4 on the inside lane, they're all the way back up to 7th. The 18 of Robbins ready for green, 69 complete.
Green flag in the air out of turn number 4. Just a slight advantage for Garvey on the high side. Justin South, a great run down into turn number 1. It's going to be South by 2 car lengths down the backstretch. He saw something down on the inside in turn 1. He outbraked Garvey. First on the gas out of 2. He's got a 2 car length advantage, and again, the biggest lead of the day once again belongs to the number 43 of Justin South.
Towards the tail end of the top 10, we had a 3-wide battle. A couple of those drivers involved, Bryant Foley, and the other was the number 1 of Coughlin. He's been in the middle of a couple sandwiches today. That time he was on the bottom, taking advantage of the drivers in the outside lane.
And Bryant and Foley, the other 2 cars involved in the other 3-wide battles we've had. It seems like every time they go 3-wide, Foley's in there somewhere. And now watching a battle for second. Bubba Pollard, a run down to the inside of Garvey. They've got a cushion, though. Nobody behind him really putting pressure on him.
And a bigger lead for South right now, up to several car lengths as Pollard and Garvey bump wheels coming off of turn 4. Hard racing for the number 2 position. Pollard inching forward. He's about a half car length ahead now of the number 1 car of Garvey. Lap number 73 on the board this time.
And a great vantage point here at Watermelon Capital Speedway. You could actually see Bubba Pollard's hands seesawing on that wheel when those 2 cars got together out of turn number 4. Still Pollard with a half a car length advantage. Looks like no love lost in that battle. Chase Elliott makes it 3 wide now in that battle down into 3.
Boy, Elliott thought better of it, though. They can thank him for maybe not wrecking them in that 3rd corner. He had the opening, but he allowed Garvey to get back down as well as Pollard. And now Elliott in the 4th spot, racing with Garvey right in front of him. Single file up front.
And Garvey got right into the back of Pollard that last time, lifted the rear wheels, but he did it on the straightaway. Backed off by the time they got to a corner. That's a veteran race car driver. He's letting him know he's there, but he's not about to wreck him. In trouble now. It's going to be, guess what? Surprise, Jake Griffin going around the number 22 of Herbert as well. So 2 cars that have had an eventful day going around turn 4. The leader's not going to be able to get around. The yellow's out, but it's going to be tight there in turn 4.
Yeah, they got Herbert along the bottom. You've got Griffin right in the middle of the track, turned sideways. All of the cars look like they will be able to continue. 75 laps in, the 3/4 mark of today's race. And a bad break for Justin South. That was the biggest lead we had for anybody all day long. It was up to almost a half straightaway. He really put it to the field on that restart.
And Justin South, last time he was out front, was able to pretty much do the same thing. Didn't have as many green flag laps to open it up quite that far.
We've seen Elliott do that in the past, saving the car till the end, and all of a sudden he is a rocket, so don't count him out yet. Outside of row number 2, he restarts. 25 to go. Green is back out. South on the outside. Pollard on the inside, and South another beautiful restart.
Justin South off like a rocket ship. He's again got a 2-car length advantage. And look at Chase Elliott on the high side of Pollard. He's now going to pull into the 2nd spot. Pollard not going to make it easy. Keeps the nose in there in turns 3 and 4. The side-by-side battle is for P2.
Chase Elliott's car looked extremely into the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. Not a bit of a wiggle. Wasn't working the wheel. He is in 2nd. Pollard's fallen to 3rd. Garvey is 4th. The battle now for 5th.
A side-by-side battle for fifth up front. Justin South, he likes that clean air. He's got a 3-car length advantage. It's going to be about a 4-car length difference between Elliott back to Bubba Pollard in third. Chase Elliott, he took off at the start or the restart on that one. He didn't want any of it. Alan Gordon off the backstretch, still going down into turn 3.
He's going to get her stopped well before the creek as the car does a 360, spins around, back into the car pointed towards the creek, but still 100 feet away or so. We'll get the car moving again. We'll see if this one stays without a caution, pulls down onto the raceway. Field making a bye, but spinning is Johnson in turn 3 on the outside lane.
And an ill-advised move for Alan Gordon as he brought that car down onto the racetrack in turn 3, pulled right down just about into the groove with the leader Justin South and the entire field barreling down. And
the field was all together. If he would have waited till the end of the field gone by, he would have been fine.
He had plenty of time to get it done after that. Perhaps did not want to go another lap down. And the person that's going to pay the price the most for that is going to be Brandon Johnson as they checked up down in turn 3. Johnson got a little bit of a tap. Brandon Johnson going Chase around. Elliott. We just talked about him before the green flag came out and almost looked like he could hear us when that green flew. He wasted no time getting that number 9 car put in a position to possibly win this one. He's alongside South up front. They're getting the one to go signal this time by. And looking row number 2, Bubba Pollard, Mike Garvey. Brandon Johnson, though, looks like CRA officials possibly giving him his spot back as he's restarting now on the inside of row number 3 with Corey Rubel to the high side. So perhaps the officials in the tower saw the situation over there
and
with
charged,
the Gordon machine.
Gordon with the caution, and the 41 was able to keep moving, so he keeps his spot. The 66 of Rubel restarting in 6th. Green flag coming off of turn number 4. South and Elliott bring him in. Back underway at lap 78.
Still the majority of this field on the track racing until the end. They have not seen a lot of attrition as of yet. The advantage is going to be South's. He gets way high out of turn number 2, able to keep all 4 tires on the asphalt. Meanwhile, Hunter Robbins dives down to the inside of Johnson. That's going to be a battle for position. The top 10 now cover him with a blanket out of turn 4.
And Garvey challenges Elliott to the outside for the number 2 position. Elliott on the inside, Garvey on the outside. Pollard follows in 4th. South way up along the outside, banking on the back straightaway. He leads, and he will complete lap number 80. 20 to go for Justin South.
Justin South, other than Dalton Grindle, has been the most dominant car here on the afternoon. Every time out front, he's able to open up the advantage. Mike Garvey's got a strong car, but now he's dropping back to 3rd. Elliott on the inside. He's going to take the 2nd spot. Meanwhile, Corey Rubel dives it down to the inside of Pollard. That's going to be your battle for 4th. It turns 3 and 4, and trouble behind him. Jake Griffin going around, and this time, he may not be able to come back.
Mercifully, this race may end for Jake Griffin in the 08 as he collects the 21 of McKeehan, and around goes the 129 car of the 129 of Rag gets moving again. Most drivers able to pull away from the scene. I don't think Griffin will. The 22 gets moving, looks to be okay. Kevin Herbert's car not in bad shape.
Bad news now for the number 9 of Elliott. If Pollard's able to stick right to the back bumper of Justin South, he just might pull into the 2nd spot when they race down into turn 1.
81 complete, 19 to go. The 1 to go signal has been given. The Sam Pierce Chevrolet CRA pace truck will drop to the infield, and yellow flag waving once again as we have a wreck under caution down in turn number 1, and there are body panels laying on the racetrack. So it was a pretty heavy one down in the first corner. How interesting can that be, Mark?
And I did not see it. Actually saw this great crowd here at Watermelon Capital, and a couple of them were cheering. So I can't even see. No one of the cars is the 21 machine. Cannot see what the other one is. Drivers are still in the car. So no words being exchanged as of yet. Now, that's actually young Harrison Burton that was involved in that one.
Yeah, Burton as well as McKeehan. Very little asphalt racing experience for those two. McKeehan in the 21 car.
Yeah, Harrison Burton reporting that he was just getting ready for the restart. All of a sudden, there goes a car flying by him, and all over the car, actually. He said he's not sure what the heck happened, but man, he said that was crazy. Back to you guys.
I think McKeehan was looking to make a pass today, and he did it down in turn 1 before the mishap took place, and unfortunately under caution. Now we're going to start it again. McKeehan has pulled into the infield. The pace truck drops to the bottom. Green flag ready to be displayed again. 81 complete, 19 to go, as it's South on the outside and Elliott on the inside coming to green.
Chase Elliott legging back just a bit into turn 3. Now both leaders hard on the gas. It's going to be a dead heat, maybe just a fender for the number 43 of South out in front. Down into turn 1, it's going to be advantage South, and 3 wide back behind him for the 3rd spot.
Corey Rubel went to the bottom, caught Garvey in the middle. He checked up. He avoided the 3 wide battle. He glued to the rear bumper now of the 66 of Rubel. Leading the way at the line is South, and a battle behind him is a tight one.
Just outside the top 5, Hunter Robbins dirt tracking it off of turn number 4. They're laying all their cards on the table now. This time by only 17 laps remaining. A 4-car battle for the third spot. And McCollum going around, as does Herbert in turn 3.
Wow, McCollum got dumped from behind him. It was Hodges heading into the third turn. Hodges got up into the rear bumper of McCollum, turned him sideways off the track. The other drivers involved, Herbert the 22, the 28 car of Shooty. No accidents in turn number 1 on this try. Under caution, we'll come to turn number 4. Elliott on the bottom, South on the outside. Here we go once again at Watermelon Capital Speedway.
Once again, Chase Elliott leg back just a little bit into turn 3, trying to get a jump, and that time was not even able to get up alongside South as South came to speed. Justin South, 2-car length advantage down the backstretch. They're jostling for position back behind him. Now Elliott leaving the inside open for Corey Rubel. He's going to battle for second out of turn number 4.
Rubel up the track. He checks up a little bit exiting turn number 4, avoids contact. He's still fighting on the bottom of the Aaron's number 9. If those two drivers continue to battle side by side, that will help South again pull away. He's had the biggest lead of this race a few restarts ago. Rubel is inching forward, but then again Elliott uses the outside lane momentum to move back into second. He clears Corey Rubel.
Corey Rubel just turned his fastest lap on the afternoon in that 66 car. Back in third, all by himself. He's got some room in front and behind. Meanwhile, side-by-side battle just behind the top 5. It's going to be Hunter Robbins in trouble. If Foley bouncing off the outside wall out of turn 4, trying to take control of the car, and he's able to keep it down into turn 1.
The Kentucky driver made a whale of a save. Coming off of turn 4, he was moved over by the number 1 of Coughlin in turn number 4, slid all the way in a 4-wheel slide up to the wall, bumped the wall with a right rear quarter panel, but he stays up to speed. Running for the lead now is Chase Elliott on the inside of Justin South.
Chase Elliott just got an amazing run out of turn number 2. Out of turn 4, he's got a nose of the lead now on Justin South. They stay side by side into turn 1. The battle for the lead as the laps wind down. It'll be 89 complete next time by.
Closing down to the final 10 laps, and there's Chase Elliott taking the lead for the first time today, about when he would probably have his schedule to take the lead. Saved his equipment all day long. He is cleared now Justin South, and the Dawsonville, Georgia driver looking to make it 3 pro late model wins in a row for SpeedFest events.
Chase Elliott's best lap of the race now was back on lap 83. Interestingly enough, Rubel and South, their fastest laps came on lap 86. Now, with 10 laps remaining, Chase Elliott putting some distance now on the 43 of South. It's going to be 4 or 5 car lengths separating your top 3.
Rubel running third, running fourth, the 42 of Pollard. He was the top qualifier for this race this weekend. The 1 of Garvey, the 41 of Johnson, the 18 of Robbins, all single file. The field spread around about 3/4 of the track.
This is the most these drivers have been spread out all day long, with probably 8 laps remaining. We'll double check it this time by as Chase Elliott further extends that advantage by another car length down into turn number 1. Man, you called it earlier, Adam Mackey. Chase Elliott, watch for him in the late stages. And Chase Elliott looking for the three-peat here on the afternoon. He was the SpeedFest Pro Late Model winner the last 2 years in a row. Can he get it done for a 3rd straight time? Chase Elliott has been unbeatable in Pro Late Model competition now over the last about probably year and a half.
92 laps complete. This time 93, 7 to go. Elliott a 4-car length advantage on South, running by himself in second. And Rubel a great run today, coming from the 15th starting position, running third.
Justin South, it's amazing after the run he had earlier and how much power he had. It looked like Elliott had about a 3rd or 4th place car, but once he got out in front, he just hammered down, pulled away from everybody. Now the closest battle inside the top 5 is going to be for that 5th spot. Mike Garvey trying to hold off Brandon Johnson, and 1 car way off and almost into the creek in turns 3 and 4.
And you'll have to update me on that one because I don't see him.
He spun around. I just barely saw the nose of that car as he dipped off and into the creek down there in turns 3 and 4. We're going to check with the officials and try to get a car number.
Yeah, he went down into the creek as we have lost sight of him down in turns 3 and 4. So caution out. 94 laps in the books and 6 laps to go in this Pro Late Model event, the Premier Building Systems 100 for the JAG CRA All-Stars Tour presented by Chevrolet Performance. Caution flag is out and we have 6 laps to go.
Chase Elliott lagged back when he was the second place car in the restarts. This time he's out in front on a turn number 4, first on the gas. Green flags in the air. It's going to be Elliott by half a car length at the start-finish line as Justin South tries to form a battle on the high side.
Boy, South pushes up the bank and keeps it on the racetrack, but his car rockets off the bottom. Turn number 2, holds on to the lead. South to the rear bumper, slides up the banking in 4, loses 2 car lengths, and Chase Elliott looks to be on his way to a victory in the Pro Late Model portion again in 2013.
Side by side for the third spot, it's going to be Corey Rubel with about a fender over the number 42 of Pollard. Pollard on the high side. A couple laps ago, you saw Justin South use every bit of asphalt there on a turn number 2. But he hangs on to the second spot, watching the action behind him now in his rearview mirror. Out the windshield, though, it's going to be Chase Elliott opening up now about a 6 car length advantage. As they hit turn number 3, it'll be 3 laps remaining, this time by.
Still a good battle going on for the third position. Pollard on the outside. He is now cleared. Corey Rubel, 5th place back there is Mike Garvey, running 6th is Robbins. Highest he's been since very, very early in the race when he made a pit stop to change a left front tire. Leading is Elliott by several car lengths over Justin South.
2 laps remaining, this time by for Elliott. No challengers for him. He's got about a third of a straightaway advantage now over Justin South. He waited until he absolutely had to pull off that move on South. He kept his nose clean the entire race, saved his tires until the end. You're seeing the handling go away on South's machine. White flag in the air for Elliott last time into turn number 1.
The young driver, 17 years of age, running the K&N East Series a year ago. We'll see him there. We'll see him in ARCA. We'll see him in late models. Heading to turn 3, the Aaron's Rent to Own, HenryCars.com, Chevrolet, car number 9, Dawsonville, Georgia's Chase Elliott wins the Pro Late Model portion of SpeedFest. South in 2nd, 3rd place to Pollard, 4th to Rubel, and finishing 5th to 1 of Mike Garvey.
And some heated action there coming to the checker. Justin South actually with a fist out the window, waving at Bubba Pollard as they exited turn number 4. You can't really blame Pollard. He wanted that second spot. Pollard still has another race to go. Wanted a good result here tonight. Keep it a podium finish. Not bad either way for Bubba Pollard as he will round out your top 3. But Dawsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott now with the three-peat. 3 Pro Late Model SpeedFest wins in a row. And it's hard to count out this number 9 machine anytime that Chase Elliott climbs behind the wheel of it, especially in Pro Late Model competition.
Hunter Robbins finishing the race in 6th, Brandon Johnson 7th, Cody Coughlin 8th, Kyle Bryant 9th, Harrison Burton rallying for a 10th place finish today. Alan Gordon 11th, Jared Foley 12th, Joe Ross 13th. This is the unofficial rundown. Rodney Benefield 14th, David Hodges 15th, Matthew Ragg 16th, Kyle McCollum 17th, Kevin Herbert finishing 18th, Mason Massey 19th, Tom Schutte 20th, Jake Griffin 21st, Joel Anderson 22nd, Justin Ashburn 23rd, Chris McKeon 24th, T.W. Fisher finishing 25th. And the rest of our top 30, Alex Roberts, Dalton Grindle, Eric Stokes, Shane Nally, Ronnie Whitlock, and finishing 31st and 32nd, Eric Gershak and Marty Wood. Matt Prier down in victory lane with Chase Elliott.
For the 3rd time in 3 years, your Pro Late Model winner, this time coming in the JEG CRA All-Stars Tour, presented by Chevrolet Performance, Chase Elliott will visit victory lane as he wins SpeedFest 2013 for the JEG CRA All-Stars Tour. We'll get the helmet off, we'll get him out of the car, we'll talk to our event winner. A valiant effort for the Dawsonville, Georgia driver, just 17 years old, pick up his 3rd straight SpeedFest win. Give him a couple minutes, get the safety equipment off, and we'll talk to our winner. Going to be making some starts in NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, as well as the ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards and NASCAR K&N Pro E Series. He's out of the car. Big hand for Chase Elliott. Chase, outstanding job once again. Congratulations. That was an adventurous race, to say the least.
Yeah, it was. I'm sure it's pretty wild to watch, that's for sure. But we had a pretty good car. Car was a little bit tight. Definitely could have been better, I feel like. But we definitely had a good race here if we can go do it again.
Now, with all the cautions that were coming out, was there any concerns there towards the later part of the race?
I mean, it was kind of expected. You could kind of tell the way the beginning stage of the race went. It was going to be the same way at the end, and I was surprised that went as green as it did there those last 15 to 20 laps. So that was good for us, and hopefully we can do it again.
All right, best of luck to you in the 200 lapper.
Thank you.
Sierra SpeedFest 2013 winner of the JEG CRA All-Stars Tour, Chase Elliott in the number 9. Race fans, it's about that time. Time to get up and wave. Everybody stand up. Everybody get up. Come on. Everybody stand up. Get up, get up, get up, get up. This is SpeedFest 2013. 200 laps, the ARCA CRA Super Series here at Watermelon Capital Speedway.
The crowd came out again big time. Great grandstand full of people at Watermelon Capital Speedway. Travis Braden, John Hunter Nemechek at row number 1. The drivers waving back to the fans in the stands in this 2013 season of ARCA CRA Super Series competition, getting ready to go green in just a lap or so. The Sam Pierce Chevrolet CRA pace truck continues to lead the field down through turns 3 and 4. Travis Braden, the 0-1. John Hunter Nemechek, the number 8 on the front row. Row number 2 of Scotty Ellis. And the number 5 of Travis Sauter. And row number 3, the 18 ride of Hunter Robbins and Kyle Benjamin starts outside in 6th.
And one driver scheduled to go unable to answer the call, the 47 of Alan Carnes, scheduled to start inside of row number 16, not able to go. Also give a call out to the 98 of Russell Freeman, who lost a motor during Friday's practice sessions.
Pace truck is dropped to the infield. Travis Braden ready for green. He's the pole sitter. Outside, John Hunter Nemechek, the crowd on its feet, looking for the green. It waves, and we're underway for SpeedFest 2013, the super late model portion for the ARCA CRA Super Series.
Travis Braden jumping out to the early lead. John Hunter Nemechek riding the 7th spot. Field starting to settle right off the bat, but you'll lead to lap 1. Travis Braden the 0-1.
We've already completed more laps at the start than we did in the Jake's race. We had a caution on the back stretch when some drivers got shuffled around, and Braden leads by 5 car lengths. Heading to turn 3, Hunter Robbins moves into the top 5. On the inside, on the outside, racing him out there is Kyle Benjamin.
Right behind Robbins and Benjamin, the battle between your fast qualifier, Johnny Sauter in the 5S, Bubba Pollard in the 26. Here comes Austin Terry on the 29, but now Benjamin gets on. We got a caution, trouble in turns 3 and 4.
Brandon Oakley in the 51 had his car turned around in the middle of turns 3 and 4. The Beaver Creek, Ohio driver, the DKBicycles.com, Oakley Blacktop number 51, Brandon Oakley.
Chief starter Brian Duncan gives us the 1 lap to go signal. We are going green next time. It is Travis Braden, your leader in the 0-1 machine. John Hunter Nemechek flanking his outside, and then the number 8 machine. And Nemechek had a great run here last season in one of his first starts in the super late model.
Led some laps. Was very good here at SpeedFest. He also competed here a couple of other times. John Hunter Nemechek looking for his big first breakout win in super late model competition, a 2012 winner and champion of the Allison Legacy Series. Braden and Nemechek coming to green off of turn number 4.
Green flag back in the air as Braden and Nemechek go side by side in the turns 1 and 2. Nemechek holding that outside lane. Now Travis Sauter looking around the outside. The 83 of Scotty Ellis for 3rd.
Side by side heading to turn number 3. This time a better restart for Nemechek. Boy, they rub a little bit of pain as Braden goes up the banking. He's got some tire marks on the right side of that 0-1 car. Nemechek drops back into line, bumper to bumper off of turn number 2. Single file first 3. The battle is for 4th.
Kyle Benjamin round the outside, the 83 of Scotty Ellis. He's got a bumper full of Hunter Robbins and the 18. He has a bumper full of Bubba Pollard. Here comes Johnny Sauter, your fast qualifier, trying to follow Scotty Ellis on the inside lane, but it seems to be the outside move, the preferred lane so far.
Benjamin has cleared Ellis for 4th. Running 5th now is Hunter Robbins. He's got around the outside of the number 83 of Ellis. The 26 of Pollard moving forward. Brand new car for him this weekend. A GARC race car debuting here at SpeedFest.
Up front, Travis Braden continues to lead in the 0-1. A few car lengths over the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. Now is Travis Sauter looking to the inside of Nemechek. Nothing doing. Nemechek shuts the doors. They head into turn number 1 as Braden continues to extend that lead.
Travis Braden leading by 7 car lengths over John Hunter Nemechek. He has a rear view mirror full of Travis Sauter. Sauter right there on the rear bumper. Then Kyle Benjamin, he runs 4th. Hunter Robbins is 5th. A little bit of contact between Therio as he races on the outside of Scotty Ellis. Eric Jones is there, so is Mike Garvey.
And just behind them, 15-year-old Anderson Bowen in the 29 machine as he looks to crack the top 10, but he's got a bumper full of Chase Elliott just fresh off the win in the Jet CRA All-Stars Tour event. But up front, Travis Braden continuing to show the way, battle for 2nd.
Sauter drops to the inside of Nemechek for the number 2 position. Travis Sauter inside. John Hunter Nemechek on the outside lane. Benjamin hasn't really closed on those two yet after moving into the number 4 spot. Some strong runs out front. The strongest right now for Brady, the Wheeling West Virginia driver, as he leads by 7 car lengths.
Braden has been strong all weekend long. That great day when Tony Collision Chevrolet amongst the top 5, top 10 in practice all weekend long. And he continues to set the way as Travis Sauter makes the pass for second underneath the number 8 of John Hunter Nemechek.
Bold move for the Habelman Brothers Cranberries. Cranberry Creek Cranberries Chevrolet. Number 5, La Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin driver Travis Sauter is in second. And he's starting to exit away from the number 8 car of John Hunter Nemechek. Benjamin still runs 4th. Running 5th is Robbins. 6th place Pollard. 7th place is Johnny Sauter, the top qualifier this weekend. Therio running behind him along with Jones and Mike Garvey.
Travis Braden continuing to show the way. A car awfully slow down the backstretch. The 97 of Jimmy Garmin. He'll pull in the infield. We will stay green. Tough break for the Houston, Georgia veteran.
The elder statesman of the field today, the Georgia driver Jimmy Garvin, 53 years of age, not quite the oldest driver here this weekend for both races. 54 was that number, but pulling into the pits. The 97 of Garmin looks like he's done for the day. He did not even go to the pits. He went to the open spot on the infield, and he's done right around lap number 14. And now caution is out, one off the track. It's Donnie Wilson in turns 3 and 4. Solo car spin. Yellow is out for a second time.
Tough break for the Oklahoma City, Oklahoma driver, the Wilson Ford Parts Ford, as Wilson makes his way back onto the racetrack. Doesn't appear to be any damage to the number 2 machine, just still kicking up a little of that Georgia clay coming off of turn number 4.
And no fire down there yet. That's always a plus as well. Had a little bit of that in the first race earlier today down in the turn 3 portion of the outfield grass.
Still a long way to go. As we mentioned, 14 laps completed, 86 to go to the halfway break, 186 to go overall. And Travis Braden again chooses the inside lane, which forces Travis Sauter to the outside of row number 1.
St. Pierre Chevrolet, CRA pace truck, logging some miles today. We'll pull into the infield as Travis Braden, the 0-1, and Travis Sauter in the number 5 come to the restart. 14 complete, and we are back underway at Watermelon Capital Speedway for SpeedFest 2013. Good restart for both. They're side by side, exiting turn 2. Braden the advantage by half a car length. They go to 3. Can he clear him? And yes, he looks like he might be able to. Oh, Johnny Sauter gets a little help from behind the 4 of Jones. They continue on, and still up front, wheel to wheel for the lead.
Travis Sauter trying to make the outside groove work. Number 5 machine, but Braden with a slight advantage going into turns 3 and 4. John Hunter Nemechek, the number 8, trying to figure out which way to go. And here comes Bubba Pollard around the outside of 26.
2 very good, consistent grooves. You can use either one today, inside or outside. Sauter drops back into line. Top 4 single file. Pollard has cleared Robbins. Robbins still working on the inside. Austin Therio, the main driver, he's moving up in the second groove.
Up front, Travis Braden continuing to lead. Travis Sauter now pulls in behind the back bumper of the black and green 0-1 machine as Braden and Sauter pull in the middle. Sauter looks to the inside, but Braden shuts the door.
And Sauter now challenging for the lead, looking low. Braden's car shoving up off the bottom of the racetrack, giving him some space down low. And back in the field, our top qualifier, Johnny Sauter, is caught on the bottom. It's main driver, Austin Therio. And there's the number 1 of Garvey also using that second group, trying to get around him.
Eric Jones right there as well, the number 4 machine just behind Jones, your winner of the JEG CRA All-Stars Tour event a little while ago, Chase Elliott. And right behind Elliott is the 29 of Anderson Bowen. But up front, Travis Braden trying to hold off Sauter. Looks to the inside.
Sauter using the low lane. Braden using the outside. Both of the first name of Travis up front of our field. And they race off of turn number 2. Braden using the momentum in the outside groove, able to hold him off so far. Look back through the field. Trouble over in turn 2. Morrissey goes around. He collects Jake Griffin. Griffin did a nice job there trying to avoid the contact. May have clipped the left front a little bit. And watching on the front, on the back straightaway, looks like the car is okay, unless there's some minor damage to the left front suspension. Mark Keeler down on pit road.
And a note on the Andrew Morrissey number 39 car. They had this car up on jack stands all morning here. They were about an hour late getting down to the tech shed. I talked to the crew. They said that they have thrown absolutely everything they have at this 39 car. They were actually scaling it just prior to going to tech. They've changed all the shocks on this car multiple times throughout the weekend.
Heading to the infield. CRA pace truck yet another time. The field starts to pick up the pace. They head down into 3. They race to 4. Coming to the green flag, Braden and Sauter. Bring them in again. And Travis Braden, the good restart on the inside lane. Half car length advantage heading to turn number 1. Braden on the bottom. The 2012 Series Rookie of the Year takes sole possession of the lead. Down the backstretch, here comes John Hunter Nemechek for second.
Travis Sauter trying to make the outside groove, working the number 5 machine. John Hunter Nemechek trying to make that inside lane work. Battle behind them is for 4th as well. The 71, Kyle Benjamin, 18, and Hunter Robbins.
Single file top 3 as Nemechek clears the 18 of Robbins, the 71 and Benjamin. They are side by side running for 4th and 5th. Johnny Sauter picks up the pace a little bit. He's running 6th. He closes right to the rear of those 2 in front of him, and in fact goes to the outside, takes a peek out there. Going to try to get around second fast qualifier Kyle Benjamin, who will squeeze his way into the outer groove.
With Sauter to 6th, that shovels Bubba Pollard into 7th. Now here comes Eric Jones around the outside, the number 4 machine. He'll go to the outside of Bubba Pollard. The battle for 7th between Pollard on the inside, Jones on the outside.
This year's winner of the Snowball Derby looks to be stout in this race. The number 4, Byron, Michigan driver Eric Jones on the outside of Pollard, and up front, battle for the lead. Inside, Travis Sauter. Outside, Travis Braden.
John Hunter Nemechek solidly in 3rd, the number 8 machine. As Hunter Robbins gets by the 71 of Kyle Benjamin for that 4th spot, shift from Benjamin to 5th. Now into the grasp of the number 5, the fast qualifier Johnny Sauter, who moves to the outside.
And up front, I continue to watch the leaders, watching that Cranberry number 5 car try to make a run on the 0-1 of Travis Braden. He continues to use the bottom, and Braden giving it to him, something he may have learned in the first race. If you keep your car a half a lane or maybe even a full lane off the bottom, your momentum is enough to keep you ahead of the guys on the inside groove, and that's exactly what the Wheeling, West Virginia driver is doing. Travis Braden leading, Travis Sauter second, third running by himself is Nemechek, and the battle now for 4th. Here comes Benjamin to the low side of Robbins.
And Johnny Sauter right there as well, trying to figure out which way to go as Robbins hangs on to the spot for now. Shuffling Benjamin back in the 5th one more time. Johnny Sauter right there in the number 5 machine. Eric Jones right there as well in the number 4. Bubba Pollard, Austin Terrier, Mike Garvey, your top 10.
Behind Mike Garvey, Chase Elliott, the number 9, the number 29 of Anderson Bowen, the other 29 car, one of many we have this weekend, of course. Jeff Chiquette, David Reagan continues to try working his way forward, and off the track goes Jones. Jones trying to woe her down, has her locked down, dirt flying, dust in the air, keeps the car moving, caution flag is out. Jones gets it slowed down in time. His dirt-covered number 4 car back onto the raceway. He was running that second groove. Don't know whether he got pinched, don't know whether he just ran it too far to the high side coming off of 2. Keeps the car in one piece. Despite the dirt all over that ride, he gets moving again, stays on the lead lap, does the number 4 of Eric Jones. Mark Keeler down on pit road.
And the second that caution flow, I was right here at the Eric Jones pit. They scrambled real quick to get into the crash cart here. The first thing they pulled out of the crash cart to work on the car, a duster. They've got the duster out to get that red clay, that Georgia clay off of the number 4 machine. Looks like they also have a bit of a blower down here too. They're going to try cleaning the car off. Looks like an air pressure adjustment possibly as well for the number 4 of Eric Jones. We're awaiting that car down on pit road.
That's despite missing the right front fender on that number 5 machine. Your fast qualifier in that curb record Chevrolet regular in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We'll start outside of row number 3 in this restart.
Have any more info, Mark?
We just spoke to the Chase Elliott crew. You mentioned he's in a backup car. They said he's pretty pleased with the backup car as of right now. The only thing they're looking for, as we heard with Jay Newick, is just a little bit of forward grip. Right now, Chase Elliott focusing on tire management with plenty of laps to go here in SpeedFest.
29 laps in. Green flag ready to wave, coming off of 4. Braden and Sauter get the green. They hit the go pedals, and they're off, heading towards turn one. Braden once again out front in the lead. Sauter fighting on the high side, back middle of the pack, almost saw 3 wide. Randy Gentry thought better of it, and for second, here comes John Hunter Nemechek to the inside of Sauter.
Right behind Nemechek and Sauter, the battle for fourth continues between the 18 of Hunter Robbins, the 71 of Kyle Benjamin. Now here comes Johnny Sauter around the outside of Benjamin. That is for the 5th spot. Behind him, the battle is for 7th, the 26 of Bubba Paulo, the 29 of Austin Terrio.
Chase Elliott got shuffled a little bit there. Garvey on the inside. Anderson Bowen as well. The 29 of Chiquette following closely. David Reagan in the 77 continues to move forward. Reagan looks to be very strong in that car. Did not qualify well last year. Finished 3rd in this race and looks for a win today in front of his hometown fans. Up front, the 01 car. Braden Lees right on his rear bumper is Travis Sauter.
32 laps completed, 68 laps to go to the halfway break as Travis Braden continues to show the way. Travis Sauter again to the inside. Number 5 machine will dive to the bottom. Travis Braden gives him a lane and come out of turn number 4.
Momentum in that second groove killer, though, for Sauter because Braden is able to clear him again. They're nose to tail in 1 and 2. First side-by-side battle is now for 5th. The number 5 of Johnny Sauter on the inside of Hunter Robbins. Robbins gives him the spot heading to 3, and Johnny Sauter is up to 5th.
That means that Kyle Benjamin is now the 4th, number 71. He'll try to reel in the number 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. In the meantime, the battle up front continues. A pair of Travis is battling for that lead. The 01 of Travis Braden, the 5 of Travis Sauter, as Braden continuing to show the way.
Good run in turn 4 this time for Sauter. He took a different angle. He went a little bit high in 3 and 4. Cut into the bottom, the 01 of Travis Braden, our first lead change of the race. As Travis Sauter out front, he will take the lead and be the leader at the line on lap 36.
That shuffles the 2012 ARCA CRA Super Series Rookie of the Year. Travis Braden into 2nd spot. John Hunter Nemechek is 3rd in the 8. Kyle Benjamin 4th in a 71. And now Travis Sauter's uncle, fast qualifier Johnny Sauter, is now in the top 5.
Running 6th is Austin Terrio. Good run for him so far today. 7th in the 18 car of Hunter Robbins. 8th place, the 26 of Pollard. 9th, the 1 of Garvey. And rounding out the top 10, the 29 car of Anderson Bowen.
And right after Travis Sauter took that lead, he is gone. He has opened up a huge lead over the 01 of Travis Braden as Travis Sauter dive bombs into turn number 1, and he is pulling away in a hurry from Travis Braden.
Travis Sauter, one of the fastest cars all weekend long in practice, was atop the charts and didn't quite back it up in qualifying. Still turned the 4th quickest lap. Johnny Sauter set the quick time yesterday in this division, but it's actually Travis that's leading the way, setting a dominant pace so far now after taking the lead from Travis Braden.
And Braden falling off the pace just a bit, falling into the claws of the number 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. As Nemechek closing in on the 2nd place driver of the 01 of Travis Braden. Kyle Benjamin comfortably in 4th. Johnny Sauter comfortably in 5th. Austin Terrio has worked his way up to 6th, the 29, as Hunter Robbins is falling back to 7th.
Saw Mike Garvey lose his spot to the 29 of Anderson Bowen. Bowen may have moved him over a little bit. We'll see if Garvey returns the favor down in 3 and 4. He does not. Closes to the rear bumper. We continue on as Bowen moves up a position in the top 10. 40 laps on the board now and making a run out of the top 5. The 26 of Pollard racing with the 18 of Robbins, and Robbins looks to be a little off the pace.
Robbins trying to hang on, but Bubba Pollard skates by the 26 for now. But Robbins trying to make that outside groove work. But as they battle side-by-side for position, Anderson Bowen right there as well at 29, trying to decide which side of the follow. The 26 of Pollard, the 18 of Robbins.
Caution out for debris on the front straightaway right here past the finish line. Debris laying on the front stretch. A piece of a fender coming off of one of the cars. And caution flag is out. Could be the 51 of Nassi. He's missing part of his fender on the left front. Outside of Sauter, green flag waving this time. Sauter did choose the inside lane. Sauter by a nose at the line. They go down into turns 1 and 2. Braden will get up some ground. He's got Benjamin boxed in behind him. Inside lane moving forward. John Hunter Nemechek moving into 2nd. Braden needs to get low before the number 5 car of Sauter gets underneath him. Johnny Sauter running 5th. Make it 4th now. Up the banking and glows. He closes the door on the 71 of Benjamin, who has to check up. Nearly disaster for 4th and 5th.
Benjamin slipped out to 5th. He may fall back to 6th now as Hunter Robbins is recruited. He'll work his way back in the top 5. The number 18 machine. But up front is Travis Sauter, leader. New driver in 2nd spot. That is the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek.
Johnny Sauter, the top qualifier, trying to get up there with his relative. His nephew Travis Sauter leading the way. 3rd and 4th in a battle, and so are fifth, and sixth. We'll talk about third and fourth. Travis Braden, the early race leader, holding on to it, but Johnny Sauter pressuring heavily from behind.
Travis Sauter continued to show the way in the 5 machine. John Hunter to check the 7. As you mentioned, that the battle is for third. The 0-1, the early race leader, Travis Braden. Now Johnny Sauter, your fast qualifier, to the inside of Braden, coming out of turn number 4.
A gaggle of cars through 3 and 4. We saw the 77 of David Reagan get shuffled up onto the high side of a 3-wide battle, losing a few spots. He's falling backward after moving forward. Early was closing in on the top 10, and now he's closing in on being back around 20. Third and fourth, still out. Johnny Sauter has taken the position, set to sight so on John Hunter Nemechek for second. But man, the action was furious for a lap or two mid-pack.
Without a doubt, as Kyle Benjamin in 5th in the 71. Austin Theriot, a good run for him in 6th. As Hunter Robbins has fallen back again. He's now in the 7th. Battle for 8th. There's Anderson Bowen to the inside of Bubba Pollard. Give 8th spot to the Suwanee, Georgia 15-year-old.
Bubba Pollard started this race in 8th, moved up early, now fading a little bit, has dropped back to his original starting position of 8th or 9th, and now here comes the number 1 of Garvey to the inside of Pollard, down in 3 and 4.
Chase Elliott is 11th. Jeff Choquette is 12th. Zach Hausler is 13th in the 19th. Wes Burton is 14th. And how about the run by Donnie Wilson? He's back up to 15th after one of the early cautions.
David Odell is 16th. 17th is Reagan. 18th is Jones. He's moving forward again. Running 19th in the outside groove is Gentry. And rounding out the top 20 is Stephen Nasse. 21st, TJ Reed. 22nd, Scotty Ellis. 23rd is Brandon Oakley. 24th is Spencer Davis. And running 25th is Brandon Hermiller. The final 4 cars on the racetrack still running. The 39 of Morrissey, 84 of Niewick, 72 of Heckert, and the 09 of Griffins, the 08 car.
51 laps completed, 49 laps to go to the halfway break. Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin's Travis Sauter continues to lead the number 5. Then you got Mooresville, North Carolina's John Hunter Nemechek riding in 2nd spot. Nacita, Wisconsin's Johnny Sauter, 3rd, the number 5S. Wheeling, West Virginia's Travis Braden, 4th in the 01. And Aisley, South Carolina's Kyle Benjamin, running in the top 5 in the 71 with Austin Theriot just outside, running in 6th.
Battle for 7th begins, and it might be over quickly. It is. Moving into the 7th spot is Anderson Bowen. Dropping back to 8th, the 18 car of Hunter Robbins. His tight condition hasn't dropped him way off the pace, but I'm sure it's not to his liking.
Boy, looking at the front tires of the 18 machine, they're turned to the right going into the corners. Hunter Robbins fighting an extremely loose race car on that pitboxes.com machine.
He said from his pit road area earlier he was fighting a tight condition, and at times, of course, he has to overcorrect, try to get the car turned, and it's been a handful for Hunter Robbins so far in the race here today as he's just hanging on. He was solid at times during the Jakes race, moving back through the field after an early pit stop for a flat tire. We have completed 55, and a battle now for the number 4 position. Kyle Benjamin gets by the early race leader, Travis Braden.
Austin Theriot, right here is one of the number 20 machine. He's in the top 5 for the first time this afternoon as the Ford Kent main driver looking to make the long haul from way up north. Worthwhile here in Cordele, Georgia.
Top qualifier Johnny Sauter about to make it a Sauter sweep of the top 2 spots in this race. He has closed on John Hunter Nemechek. He currently runs 3rd. Nemechek runs 2nd, but I don't think it's going to be for long. Sauter rockets off of turn 2. He will shoot by Nemechek and take the 2nd spot away, and a big-time pass on the backstretch.
Still missing that right front fender. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series star Johnny Sauter, your fast qualifier this weekend, now in the 2nd spot. But he's got a ton of real estate to make up as his nephew Travis Sauter about to approach the back of the lead lap cars.
Good racing action and a lot more green flag racing action in this race compared to the cautions we saw in the Jakes race, though yellows are not counting toward the laps in either event today. But in this race, we've seen plenty of racing action early on in a shorter amount of time. 60 laps at the line this time for the leader, Travis Sauter, running a great race here this afternoon. And lap traffic ahead, it's going to be heavy the next few laps.
That heavy lap traffic begins with the 84 of Jay Newick. Just ahead of him, the 08 of Jay Griffin, 72 of Scott Heckert. Followed by, in front of him, the 39 of Andrew Morrissey, and the number 6 of Brandon Hermiller. All of those cars have pitted at least once or twice.
And they know he's coming. Griffin has just passed Heckert. Newick running right in front of Sauter, and also saw some contact that took place between Morrissey and Hermiller because they know it's go time. They're going to be a lap down in moments.
Jay Newick does go a lap down the number 84 machine as we complete 62 laps in the books. 38 to go to the halfway break as Travis Sauter negotiates the back of the lead lap cars. Now he goes to the outside, the 72 of Scott Heckert, but there is a plethora of cars in front of him.
Outside lane, Sauter gets around Heckert. There is Morrissey running the bottom, moving over for the leader. Sauter goes up the bank and gets around on the outside. Trouble in 3. Gentry goes off the raceway. Gentry in the 09, a solo car spin. Caution is out. He was running around a couple of the other cars, and that is great timing for Hermiller as well as Morrissey as they're right in front of the leader. I think Heckert probably just was the first car, one lap down, as he just recently was passed. Might get the lucky dog in yellow waves.
Sauter and Sauter leads him out of turns 3 and 4. Chief Starter Brian Duncan's got the green flag in hand, and we're back underway for SpeedFest 2013 here at Watermelon Capital Speedway. And right off the bat, Johnny Sauter around the outside.
Excellent restart for Johnny Sauter. He pulls ahead by half a car length, takes it way up along the rim of the racetrack on the backstretch, loses half a car length. Travis Sauter's going to lead the field at the stripe. I believe he does by just inches at the line. The Sauters are side by side in turns 1 and 2. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series veteran on the outside, Bill does drop in the second. And leading the way is Travis Sauter by half a car length. Johnny will drop to the bottom.
Spot. Cal Benjamin fourth. Austin Terrio now in the top 5 for the first time this afternoon. The Fort Kent main driver, that Checkered Flag Foundation, Brad Keselowski Racing Ford, is now fifth. Cal Benjamin for fourth.
Donna Georgia driver Mike Garvey, the veteran driver. He started this race in pack. 16th position. He's just one spot out of the top 5 now. So keep our eyes on the veteran Mike Garvey. He's a good one, and he is running really well in the super race today. Picked up a 5th place run in the pro race.
Garvey currently running 6th. Travis Brady shuffled back to 7th, but he's got a bumper full of Anderson Bowen, who was shuffled back to 8th. Now Bowen looked to reclaim the 7th spot as he tries to get by early race leader Braden. Hunter Robbins right there, and so is Bubba Pollard.
Anderson Bowen moving up from the Pro Late Models to the Supers this year, going to run the full season with the ARCA CRA Super Series for Rookie of the Year. He got Rookie of the Year in the Jake's Tour last year, and he's having a great run today in this supercar. All over Travis Braden, trying to make a run to the inside now on the backstretch.
The dual 2012 CRA Rookies of the Year, ARCA CRA Super Series, Travis Braden, Jake CRA All-Star Tour, Anderson Bowen, both top freshmen, duking it out for that 7th spot. Braden not giving Bowen an inch. Bowen now shows him the chrome horn going out of turn number 2.
Just lets him know he's there as they head down the back straightaway. Again, looking at the bottom. Right behind him, Pollard, as well as the 18 car of Hunter Robbins. Bowen working hard on the inside. Braden's been able to use that outside to hang on to it, but not now. Bowen a great run. A great exit. Turn number 2 clears him now and moves up into the 7th position. Anderson Bowen from Sewanee, Georgia.
Up front, it is Travis Sauter now opening up a 3/4 second lead over his uncle Johnny Sauter, who's currently riding in 2nd. John Hunter Newachuk solidly in 3rd. Kyle Benjamin 4th in the 71. Austin Terrio is 5th, but here comes Mike Garvey, who's currently running 6th.
Well, Travis Sauter was the class of the field in practice this weekend, and right now he is pulling away from Johnny Sauter, the top qualifier for this race. Has about a half straightaway lead. Around goes the 19. And down near the access road into the infield goes Hausler. Hausler was running there with the 09 of Gentry. Hausler gets it woe down in time, but Hausler will be parked off of the racetrack trying to get the car refired and get back up onto the raceway surface as we have caution out at 72 laps in. A wild ride for Hausler in the 19. Field has gone double file formation. The Sauters up front with Travis inside, Johnny outside. Row number 2 of John Hunter Nemechek and Kyle Benjamin. Row number 3 of Austin Theriot. And the number 1 of Mike Garvey, who's had a great run so far in this event, from starting in 15th up to 6th, with still plenty of time to move forward before the halfway break. Anderson Bowen, good run for the 29 car. Anderson started this race looking for it down the sheet in the 12th position, and Bowen has moved up to 7th, so picking up 5 spots. Travis Braden dropping from the early race leader to 8th now, and the 18 car of Robbins hanging on to that tight race car till the halfway break, so the crew can make some adjustments. Still in the top 10, and so is Bubba Pollard, the 26. Pace truck has dropped to the infield and ready for another restart.
Travis Sauter on the inside, Johnny Sauter on the outside, Chief Starter Brian Duncan, the green flag in hand. We're back underway here in Cordele, Georgia.
Another good restart for Johnny Sauter on the outside lane. Will he be able to clear Travis? The answer is no. Down in turn number 2. Great run off of the corner. Skates it all the way to the top of the banking. Close to being able to clear him. Travis drives back to the inside. They're rubbing paint down in 3 and 4. The Sauters going at it hard. And the Wisconsin drivers have changed positions. Johnny Sauter out front. Travis has dropped back to second.
Some heavy bumping and grinding between Johnny Sauter and Travis Sauter, but it is your fast qualifier this weekend. Johnny Sauter taking the lead. He'll come around and complete another lap, give the lead in Acena, Wisconsin's Johnny Sauter.
Trouble in 3 and 4. Around goes Heckert in the 72, and just as I was ready to talk about the run that Mike Garvey was having, he was challenging Benjamin for 4th. The 72 of Heckert went around at the back of the field to bring out a yellow solo car spin. 74 laps on the board. And how about the run by the Sauters? They're not being patient. They were roughing up each other at the front of the field a little bit.
John Nemechek early running in the 3rd spot. Mike Garvey 4th in the 1. Then you got Kyle Benjamin in the 71 running in 5th. Austin Theriot is 6th. Travis Braden 7th. Anderson Bowen 8th. Hunter Robbins 9th. Bubba Pollard is in 10th.
Jeff Chiquette running 11th. Chase Elliott is 12th. 13th is Eric Jones. And Jones has moved up to 13th. That's big. You say 13th isn't that good, but it is when you had to go to the back for an early off-track excursion, and you've already worked past half of the cars, still have 26 laps to work by more. I think he might have one of the cars to beat later on today. Green flag turn 4 for the Sauters.
Sauter and Sauter out of 4. Green flag back in the air. We are back underway. They go into turn 1. It is still Sauter and Sauter side by side out of turn number 2. Travis Sauter with a slight advantage. Johnny Sauter a little sideways coming out of 2.
That 5 car on the outside lane of Johnny Sauter is free. It gets up sideways, runs around the rim of the racetrack on the backstretch, able to hang on to it. He will run in the 2nd spot as Travis Sauter has regained the lead. John Hunter Nemechek is 3rd. Mike Garvey up to 4th. And Benjamin runs in the 5th spot. 3 car runs back 6th place. Austin Theriot behind him is Travis Braden and Anderson Bowen.
Travis Sauter reclaims the lead. It was 76 laps completed, 24 laps to go to the halfway point. Sauter and Sauter still 1 and 2. John Nemechek is 3rd, but now he's got a back bumper full of the veteran Mike Garvey in the lead.
Continues to go under green now. 77 laps complete after a restart on lap 74, and Travis Sauter setting sail from Johnny Sauter. And Travis Braden has been able to clear the 26 of Pollard for the time being. The 18 of Robbins fighting that tight handling number 18 car. Still racing with those two. And behind them, Chiquette and Chase Elliott going at it. Now Chase Elliott, we saw him in the Jegs race kind of just run in the top 5. Then all of a sudden, 10 laps to go, he's a rocket and gone from the field. Will he do the same in the second half of today's race after the break?
Travis Sauter continuing to show the way. Uncle Johnny Sauter riding in 2nd spot. 7 behind his nephew as Sauter and Sauter make their way through turns 3 and 4. John Nemechek is 3rd. Mike Garvey still in 4th. And in 5th, Kyle Benjamin, who's trying to hold off Austin Theriot.
I was speaking high praise of Eric Jones moments ago, but right now he's just trying to hang on to a position as David Reagan runs the low side. Jones runs the outside groove. They follow the 9 of Elliott and the number 12, the 29 of Jeff Chiquette. Watching Mike Garvey race with one of the youngsters in the field. John Hunter Nemechek battled for the 3rd spot. Garvey outstanding in this first half of the race today.
Garvey started 16th. He's in the top 4 right now. Looking at the challenge. 15-year-old John Hunter Nemechek for that final podium position in 3rd. Nemechek with a slight advantage going into turn number 1 as they make their way on 2. Now Kyle Benjamin going to make it a 3-car battle.
Benjamin there closing on the number 1 car of Garvey and the number 8 car of Nemechek. Garvey hasn't really made a serious challenge at Nemechek yet, but you know it looks like it's coming. Down to 17 laps until our halfway break. The drivers will take on tires. And now it's a battle of the 29s in the top 10.
Anderson Bowen to the inside of Austin Theriot for that 6th spot. Most of the drivers out there riding, waiting for the halfway break, but not the 15-year-old from Suwanee, Georgia. The Copper Creek Hardware Machine from the 15-year-old, the Jegs CRA All-Stars Tour Rookie of the Year, now into 6th. He'll chase after Kyle Benjamin for 5th.
Bowen's having a veteran-like run in the first half of the race today. It's not about getting to the front quickly in this first 100. Want to put yourself in a good position for the second 100. He's kept his nose clean, the car running strong. The Suwanee, Georgia driver looks good here early on.
This time by going to be 86 laps completed. 14 laps to go to the halfway break. Travis Sauter, your Your leader in the number 5, Johnny Sauter, second. Also in the number 5, John Hernimacek is third. Mike Garvey is fourth. Kyle Benjamin is fifth.
The 9 of Elliott makes a run on Robbins. Elliott hasn't done a whole lot of going forward at this point, but right now he does pick up a spot. Robbins, who started this race in 5th, continues to drop backward. He looks up each time he goes by the scoreboard and says, can't you put a couple more on the board? I want to get to halfway and make some adjustments to this car. Nemechek running around the bottom lane in 3rd. Here comes the number 1 car of Garvey again, challenging outside, and that's a battle for 4 positions there. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, as Bowen has also closed on the 71 of Benjamin, the 1 of Garvey, and the 8 of Nemechek, who leads the pack.
11 laps to go to the halfway. Just under the second advantage for Travis Sauter over his uncle Johnny Sauter as they work their way towards the back of the lead pack cars, beginning with the 39 of Andrew Morrissey. Another fellow competitor from up in Wisconsin, DeForest, Wisconsin to be exact, for Morrissey. As Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin's Travis Sauter continues to show the way.
And barring any cautions, they're going to quickly catch that field before the halfway break, so you're going to see them racing into some slower traffic with Morrissey, Heckert, the 84 car of Newick, the 6 of Hermiller, and the 129 of Spencer Davis. This race today, the second event on our schedule for SpeedFest 2013, saw 9 drivers under the age of 18. Our first race only saw 4, but this race looks like the more experienced, more talented, more veteran-laden drivers are kind of leading the way, because the green flag runs have been much longer and more in variety.
And then these guys know they have to be patient. You know, this is a long race. As long as a 100-lapper was for Jeg CRA a little while ago, this is a 200-lapper race. Even with a halfway break, they still have to be patient. Strategy going to come into play here with seven laps to go to the halfway break.
Kind of keeping my eye on the 08 of Jake Griffin. Saw him earlier hit the left front on avoiding a car in turn number 2. Had a disastrous first race today with just about involved in every caution we had, but in this one he's running a very good, smooth, smart race. He just made a pass on the 51 car of Stephen Nasse. Next on his list, the 51 of Brandon Oakley. Griffin's Super Series car seems to be much better than the Jake's car.
Travis Sauter now beginning to hit the back of the lead pack cars. He's already went around the 39 of Andrew Morrissey, working to put a lap on the 72 of Scott Heckert. But Heckert and the 84 of Jay Newick are side by side in front of Travis Sauter. Now here comes Johnny Sauter. That's going to allow Johnny to close the gap on his nephew.
They look to the outside lane under green flag conditions. 5 laps until the halfway break. Outside goes Travis Sauter. Jay Newick down a lap. Johnny Sauter goes to the outside as well. Up in front of them by about a half a straightaway. A pretty strong battle going on between Donnie Wilson and Stephen Nasse, the 19 of Hausler, who spun off the track not long ago after making a good run through the field from his starting spot. The 83 of Scotty Ellis and the 129 of Spencer Davis up ahead as well for the Sauters as they work lap traffic. They have a straightaway lead over the number 8 car of John Hunter Nemechek, who has pulled away from that battle of 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
39 of Andrew Morrissey off the pace going into turn number 1 as the leaders safely negotiate by. Morrissey well off the pace. Tough break for the DeForest, Wisconsin driver. That's Spring Green Health Mart Ford.
White flag waving, final lap to our halfway break. Travis Sauter should be the leader. He will clear the number 6 of Brandon Hermiller. For Hermiller, this isn't a bad thing. He'll get the lucky dog if he can stay there and avoid being passed by Heckert. They come to the checkered flag for the first half of this race, and the first half comes to a conclusion. Travis Sauter claims the lead and will have the best chance to start up front again, depending on what type of strategy plays out. Finishing the line in second was the number 5 of Johnny Sauter. Third, the number 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. Fourth, the number 1 of Mike Garvey. Fifth, the 71 of Kyle Benjamin. Anderson Bowen in 6th. 7th was Bubba Pollard. 8th, the number 9 car of Chase Elliott. And 10th, the 29 of Austin Terrio. It is halfway. The halfway mark has been reached. We have completed the first 100 of our 200-lap race here this evening. As afternoon does start to turn to evening now, we will see the rest of the race under lights. We will have a break of about 15 minutes and a chance for the drivers to make adjustments and take tires.
And as you mentioned, Adam, the free pass going to Brandon Hermiller, the number 6 machine, the HS Dine Engineering Ford. And sounds like Mark Keeler's got something for us. Mark, what you got?
Well, awaiting the cars down here on pit road for this break, we just caught up with Joe Nemechek, asked him if they were going to change 4 tires, and with a big old grin on his face, he said, I have no idea. So we're actually down here right in between the Travis Sauter, Johnny Sauter, and John Hunter Nemechek pits. So we should have a pretty good report. John Hunter Nemechek, a good run there in the early going, but not quite able to get out to the front, as you guys said. So we'll look for some changes on the number 8 car and also see what the Sauters have in store here for round number 2.
Well, Mark, get your legs stretched out. You're about to do a lot of walking up and down pit road, checking out all of the action going on. We're going to make you the star of the halftime break. You'll get to talk to some drivers, talk to some crews, do some live interviews as they head to the pits this time. Travis Sauter in the number 5 car leading the way. Johnny Sauter second, then the lap car of Heckert, the lap car of Niewick, the 3rd place car of Nemechek, the 4th place car of Garvey, and the 5th place car of Benjamin. 6th again Bowen, 7th is Pollard, 8th is Elliott, 9th is Terrio, and running 10th the 01 of Braden. 11th Robbins, 12th is Reed, 13th Chiquette, 14th is Jones, 15th David Reagan, running 16th. Pulling into the infield is Odell, the 41 car of West Burton, the 51 of Oakley, 08 car of Griffin, the 2 car of Wilson, the 09 of Gentry, 19 of Hausler, 83 car of Ellis, and the last 3 pulling on to pit road, the 51 of Nassy, 129 of Davis, and the 6 of Hermiller. Mark Keeler, take it away. This halftime break is yours. Keep us updated on the ongoings during the pit stops.
And we're still down here at the Nemechek pit, and Joe Nemechek actually just said to the crew down here, once you're done with what you're doing, he wants them walking down pit road to try and check out who put on their left side tires. First up down here, jacking up the right side of the car is going to be actually Travis Braden, as the left side of Johnny Sauter's car going up. So it looks like they're looking at changing all 4 of their tires. We got the left side of John Hunter Nemechek's car going up in the air as well. Travis Sauter's car already up in the air as the crew working on it. Don't see any changes going on down here on pit road just for right now. Looks like tire changes is pretty much all anybody's doing in the top 10 cars. Kyle Benjamin's got his car up in the air as the crew changes right side tires on that. It's eerily quiet down here right now as all the cars have come to rest and all the engines are off. First driver to actually step out of the car is Bubba Pollard. So Bubba Pollard's taking advantage of this break. He's out of the car. The crew's working on it as he gets wiped out. We're going to try getting a word with a few of the drivers down here. We're in the Chase Elliott pit. They've got the hood off on that car. But again, it's kind of crazy down here, not seeing a lot of changes going on. It's all mainly just tires and fuel for everybody. Don't see any of the wedge wrenches in the cars. We don't see anybody underneath the cars here in the top 10 pit.
One to go signal is in the air. The field double file formation. Travis Sauter, Johnny Sauter up front. The 2 Wisconsin drivers look to be the class of the field. Does anyone have anything for them? I think we're going to find out very quickly. If they pull away early on, will anybody with 4 tires be able to come through the drivers that took 2 or 3? Guess we'll find that out as well. Green flag moments away. 100 complete, 100 to go in SpeedFest 2013.
Sauter and Sauter, your front row. Chief starter Brian Duncan's got the green flag in hand, and we're back underway here at Watermelon Capital Speedway.
Travis Sauter, great restart, brings Austin Terrio along with him. He follows the rear bumper of Sauter, gets to the inside, coming off of turn 2. Terrio to the inside of Sauter, heading to turn 3. The main driver makes it a battle up front. One of the Sauters being challenged now.
Sauter on the outside, Terrio on the inside. Here comes Johnny Sauter. Johnny Sauter, who's back on the outside of the number 5 machine, but Terrio strong on that inside groove. Reclaims a run-on spot, but here again comes Johnny Sauter on the outside.
You see all trouble mid-pack. Griffin goes around, other drivers joining in, cars flying down over the grass towards the creek. I think probably at least one of those cars are going to end up in the creek the way they were going. We can't see anything more than that. We see the 26 of Pollard, a flat right front. Jake Griffin was in the middle of that in the 08. Reed, Gentry, they pull away from the scene. We see the 83 of Scotty Ellis moving down through here. Hunter Robbins comes by on the front straightaway. 71 of Benjamin, he's heading down the front stretch. There's the 75 of Odell, the 6 of Hermiller. Their cars look to be okay. We had almost half the field off the track in the grass down in turns 3 and 4.
Travis Sauter, Austin Theriault leads them out of turns 3 and 4. Chief Starter Brian Duggan's got the green flag in hand, and we're back underway. And Theriault right around the outside. Johnny Sauter with problems in the number 5. Tough break. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series star. He has stopped in turn 1.
Top qualifier Johnny Sauter gets his car moving again. Some sort of mechanical issue possibly for Sauter. His nephew Travis Sauter leads the way, and on his rear bumper is Theriault. The main driver is there. Wes Burton now slows up in turn 4. He'll continue on. The field goes by him. He's waving, trying to get to the bottom. For the lead, here comes Theriault inside of Sauter, turn 3.
Here comes Jeff Choquette around the outside. The number 29 machine, Eric Jones, out of nowhere. Up in the podium, on in third spot at number 4. With Choquette on the outside. They got Theriault in front of him as Travis Sauter continues to lead. Top 4 cars running nose to tail.
What's going on with Sauter down there, Mark?
And in the Johnny Sauter pit, they say the clutch is gone in Johnny Sauter's car, so that's the problem for the number 5 machine.
Clutch is gone on Sauter. A bad break for the top qualifier, though his nephew Travis has rocketed away from the field from 6th up now to 2nd. Eric Jones, the 2012 winner of the Snowball Derby, the battle for 3rd. Austin Theriault, you wonder how he lost 2nd? Well, that's because he got some contact from one of the competitors, nearly spun the car out, but he hung on. Great save for the main driver, and he's trying to keep 3rd right now with Choquette racing on the low side.
Behind them, the battle for 5th. The 71 on Kyle Benjamin, the 1 of Mike Garvey. They do it off the 5th spot. Here comes Anderson Bowen in the number 29 machine. He'll run around the outside of Travis Brayton. He'll set his sight on Mike Garvey for that 6th position.
Anderson Bowen was running up around 7th position or so before the break, and now he's moving forward again in that 2nd groove. Mike Garvey, great run, first half of the race today. He's right in front of him. Kyle Benjamin, who's had a solid last year or so, one of the favorites at each event he goes to. The name list is huge in this race today. Here comes Hunter Robbins inside of Travis Brayton in our top 10.
But up front, Travis Sauter continues to lead. The number 5 looking to bring SpeedFest 2013 victory back home to Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin. And representing the ARCA Midwest Tour, Steve Einhaus, Tim Olson, Mike Lemke, all listening in on Speed51.com's live radio broadcast. And they're happy with what they hear right now with their driver, Travis Sauter, out in front.
Mike Garvey, the veteran, has just made the move on 15-year-old driver Kyle Benjamin, cleared him on the outside lane. He's going to show his car can run the bottom. Garvey, the inside now of Choquette for the 4th position. The Georgia driver is a rocket right now. Heading forward is Mike Garvey.
Eric Jones in 2nd spot. Austin Theriault is in 3rd. And as you mentioned, Adam, Mike Garvey to the inside. Give 4th spot to Mike Garvey. Shuffling Jeff Choquette back to 5th. Now Kyle Benjamin will take a peek to the inside of Choquette.
Kyle Benjamin trying to follow Garvey by. Won't happen. The 29 of Choquette closes the door. His car shoving up the banking though. Exiting turn 2. That allows Benjamin to the inside. He now will make a run into the top 5. Easily South Carolina driver Kyle Benjamin up to 5th.
112 laps completed, 88 laps remaining. Travis Sauter continues to lead. Eric Jones riding 2nd in the 4. Austin Theriault 3rd in the 29. Mike Garvey 4th in the 1. Now Kyle Benjamin in the top 5 in the 71.
Jones was able to move his way from 6th up to 2nd after the halfway restart. However, he's being challenged now by the 29 of Theriault, who has a very good car. Theriault was actually racing with the 5 of Travis Sauter whenever he got sideways, nearly spun the car after some contact, and now he gets back by the number 4 of Eric Jones for that number 2 position.
Theriault to the inside. Jones trying to fight back on the outside, and Mike Garvey loves what he sees in the number 1 machine. He'll reel in your 2nd and 3rd place drivers, but who likes it even more? Travis Sauter, the number 5, opening up over a 2.5 lead over Austin Theriault.
Single file all the way back to around the 10th position. Donnie Wilson, Travis Brayton going at it. John Hunter Nemechek rallying nicely from being sent to the back. He was going to restart 3rd. Here comes Garvey to the inside of Jones for the number 3 spot. Battle in turn 4.
Garvey to the inside, Jones to the high sides. They make their way through turns 1 and 2. Garvey now with a slight advantage, working that inside groove. Jones on the high side, but give the final podium position to Mike Garvey in the number 1.
So So Jones back to fourth, giving up most of the spots that he had garnered since the restart. Next on the list will be the 71 of Benjamin. Pushing up the track goes the 29 of Chiquette. Hunter Robbins, his car looks to be much better second half of the race after some adjustments. It was tight in the first 100 of SpeedFest 2013 for the super late models. Leading, controlling the pace like he has for much of this race now. Travis Sauter by nearest straightaway over the 29 of Terrio. Drivers from the north doing extremely well. They enjoy this warm weather.
Without a doubt. Prairie du Sac, Wisconsin's Travis Sauter, your leader. Fort Kent, Maine's Austin Terrio riding second. Mike Garvey, originally from Muskegon, Michigan, now calling McDonough, Georgia home. He's running the third spot. Byron, Michigan's Eric Jones in fourth in the four. Then you got the first true Southerner, I guess you could say, Kyle Benjamin rounding out the top five from easily South Carolina.
It's unbelievable when you think about it, all of the success being had by the drivers from the north in this race. A driver from the south had the success in the pro race today. Chase Elliott dominating at the end, the final 10 laps to claim the victory in the Jake CRA All-Stars Tour 100. Side by side between a pair of 29 cars. On the inside, Anderson Bowen. On the outside, Jeff Chiquette. Chiquette's not all that old, but he's much more the veteran, experienced racer in that battle. Anderson Bowen, the rookie of the year on the Jakes Tour this past season, has picked up the position. Chiquette, fighting a tight car, has dropped back into a battle that might drop him 5 more spots in the next 10 laps or so.
Hunter Robbins is sixth, Anderson Bowen seventh, Jeff Chiquette is eighth. Now Donnie Wilson into the top 10 for the first time this evening. Wilson on the ninth, he gets by Travis Brayton. And here comes John Hunter Nemechek. He'll go to the underneath of Travis Brayton, get 10th spot to Nemechek.
John Hunter Nemechek is up on the wheel. He got sent to the back because his car wouldn't fire for the restart at the halfway break. He was going to be in the third position. He is proving a point right now, and he's doing it easily, making it look extremely easy. The North Carolina driver, son of front row Joe Nemechek, and he is now setting his sights on Jeff Chiquette in the 29. Nemechek is outstanding right now in the second half of this race.
Up front, Travis Sauter continues to lead. The number 5 machine about to approach the back of the lead pack cars, including the 72 of Scott Hecker, the 84 of Jay Newitt. Both those cars are actually 1 lap off the pace. Send it down to Mark Heeler. What you got?
We're down here in the John Hunter Nemechek pit, and nothing is being said on the radios. They are all just watching right now. You got to imagine there's a bit of dismay down here if the car is this good right now coming from the back. How good would they have been restarting in that third spot? But right now, no, it's complete silence on the John Hunter Nemechek radio as he continues to work his way up through the field.
And you got to realize Nemechek only took on 2 tires during that break. That's the reason he was able to start so far towards the front of the field. As we have now completed lap number 127, and Chiquette's fall from the top 5 continues. He used some strategy in the first half of the race at that halfway break, actually, to garner some spots. But now Chase Elliott making a run by to the inside. Donnie Wilson next on the list, followed by David Reagan and TJ Reed.
Up front, Travis Sauter continuing to show the way. Carefully negotiates around the 72 of Scott Hecker, putting him a second lap down. Now, so we got trouble on the back in turn 3. Spencer Davis off the top of turn number 3, bringing out the caution flag one more time.
Just about a 20-lap green flag run we had there, Matt, and able to see some racing, see who was rising to the top, and this will actually help John Hunter Nemechek a little bit. He was laying him down, but the field was starting to spread out around the ovals. He was making his way through the field, but Nemechek in the number 8 car continues to move forward. Nemechek right behind Anderson Bowen. What an amazing race for Nemechek, coming from at the back of the pack at the halfway, coming out of turn 4. Second groove has been good on a number of restarts today, and a Sauter and Terrio bring them in off of turn number 4.
Green flag back in the air. We're back underway, and Austin Terrio with a great restart going into turn number 1. Trying to take advantage of that outside groove, but Sauter fighting back on the inside. Terrio with a slight advantage going into 3 and 4, but here comes Sauter again. They're side by side coming out of 4.
Terrio trying to keep him squeezed as much as possible to keep his momentum down and keep his own momentum up. He leads lap number 130. The Fort Kent Maine driver rockets off of turn number 2 and takes sole possession of the lead. Austin Terrio, yet another leader here this afternoon and evening.
Terrio, your leader, Travis Sauter second. The battle for third. The 4 of Eric Jones. The 1 of Mike Garvey. Give the final podium position to Eric Jones, the 2012 Snowball Derby winner. He'll now set his sights on Travis Sauter.
Sauter running in second. Jones running third. Garvey fourth. Running fifth is Benjamin, 6th spot. is now Robbins. Hunter Robbins running well. Second half of the race today. 7th is Bowen. 8th place, looking for 7th, is John Hunter Nemechek. He's almost made up all that ground that he gave up when his car wouldn't start for the second half of the race.
And Nemechek to the inside of Anderson Bowen. That is for the 7th spot. They're side by side. Coming out of turn number 4, Bowen with a slight advantage, but Nemechek dive bombs into turns 1 and 2. As they are side by side again coming out of 2.
Sounds like Mark Keeler has something for us.
And we're down here with Travis Braden, who just climbed out of the car. Travis, great run in the early going for the 01 machine. What sideline do you hear?
Well, you know, we were pretty good there at the start, and then we got too tight. And then, you know, that was fixable. You know, at the break we were going to fix that, but about 8 laps before we got that 100-lap break, it started pushing water out of the overflow in the radiator for some reason, and we figured maybe cooling it down would help, but after about 2 laps of green, it started pushing water. And so, you know, it ain't worth blowing a motor when we're back in 10th place anyway, so we just decided to call it a day.
Well, great run for you. Great to see you here, Watermelon Capital Speedway. Tough break, but we look forward to seeing you back. Well, guys, that's the report from Travis Braden. And how about this battle for the lead, though, between Theriault and Sauter?
Sauter looks to be a little bit quicker now that he's back up to speed after the last restart. He's all over the 29 of Theriault, who is protecting the bottom, and now Sauter pulls alongside. And we've got caution out. Yellow flag on the raceway has got some dust down in turns 3 and 4. One of the cars has spun off the raceway, fires it back up. Could see some fire coming out of the exhaust. Can't see who it is down in 3 and 4, but the driver I'm impressed with, the number 8 of Nemechek, Mark Keeler.
And we just heard from the other Speed 51 reporters down here. It was David Reagan.
Actually, it looks like it was the 77 of David Reagan that went off the back.
And he has left a huge fire down there to put out. So they've got some work cut out for him here. A huge grass fire taking place down in 3 and 4. They won't be putting this one out with their foot.
They could try, but that may not go so well for them.
Ready for a restart here. 64 from the finish for this SpeedFest 2013 Super Series portion of the event. Ready for green in turn 4.
Austin Theriault around the outside. Travis Sauter on the inside. Green flags out. We're back underway. And Sauter and Theriault stay side by side going into turns 1 and 2. Mike Garvey gets around Eric
Trouble
Jones.
for Benjamin goes around, and cars piling in. Around goes Nassi. Also down there, the 09 car of Gentry. And Benjamin running up there in the top 5 in that 5th position. Didn't see what happened. I think he did get some help. Spun sideways and tried to save it, but then other cars piling in at the same time. Bad break for the driver of the 71. Stephen Nassi pulling away from the scene. See Jeff Chiquette well behind the field. His car looks to be okay. The 09 of Gentry making his way through 3 and 4. About 4 or 5 cars involved with that one down in turns 1 and 2.
Also involved the 51 of Brandon Oakley, as well as the number 6 of Brandon Hermiller. 2 more contenders this upcoming season for the 2013 Rookie of the Year title in the ARCA CRA Super Series. Tough break for Hermiller, the 19-year-old from Walker, Michigan, the HS Dine Engineering Ford. Looks like some cosmetic damage on the front end of that number 6 machine. Also, Brandon Oakley, the DKBicycles.com Ford from Beaver Creek, Ohio, appears to have some minor cosmetic damage on the passenger side of that 51 as well.
Mark Keeler down in the pits. Did you get a good view of that one?
Unfortunately, did not see it, but just spoke to the crew of Kyle Benjamin. Asked him what happened. They said it was contact from the number 8 of Int.
And Austin Theriault again choosing the outside lane. Travis Sauter to the inside in this restart. They are 1 and 2. Eric Jones is 3rd in the 4. Mike Garvey 4th in the 1. Hunter Robbins 5th in the 18. And John Hunter Nemechek now 6th in the 8. Anderson Bowen is 7th in the 29. And look who's in 8th. That old Chase Elliott in that number 9 machine, just quietly working his way into the top 10. The 2 of Donnie Wilson's 9th. The 41 TJ Reed rounding out the top 10.
136 laps complete, 64 laps to go. Travis Sauter and Austin Theriault for another exciting restart front of the field. Pace truck dropping low. Scott Heckard back out. He will join the tail of the field, as is the 71 of Kyle Benjamin, involved in the most recent caution. We'll see how much ground he's able to make up over the next green flag runs. Brandon Oakley also ready to come to the racetrack. Back underway. Good restart for the 29 of Austin Theriault.
Terrio around the outside. Travis Sauter working into the inside groove with Terrio with the momentum. Here comes Hunter Robbins to the inside of Eric Jones. Give him 4. There goes Travis Sauter to the inside. Give the lead to Sauter coming out of 4.
Oh, bold move inside lane for Hunter Robbins. Pulls up side by side with Mike Garvey as the field slowed down in front of him. Robbins rubs some more paint. Garvey turns back down into him as they race off of turn number 2. Garvey drops to the bottom. He's in 4th. Closes on the rear bumper of Robbins. Doesn't return the favor. Up the track they go. And 3rd and 4th they run. Robbins in 3rd. Garvey in 4th. Behind him side by side for 5th as John Hunter Nemechek for the 5th position inside of Eric Jones.
John Hunter Nemechek completing the run from all the way to the back of the field into the top 5, possibly, as Eric Jones back around the outside of Nemechek to reclaim the 5th spot with 139 laps completed, 61 laps to go. Travis Sauter still your leader.
And Jones does clear Nemechek for the time being. Behind them, another young driver, Chase Elliott, starting to work the outside groove. Chase wasn't really involved for a lead battle in this race yet. Nearly got up into the wall, may have touched it a little bit as he and Nemechek battled side by side. They race in front of the number 2 of Wilson and for the 3rd spot. Here comes Garvey, back contact with the 18 of Robbins. Off the racetrack goes Robbins, slows it down in plenty of time to avoid the creek. Caution is out as Garvey and Robbins got together. They raced with each other a little while ago, and we saw the two get together, rub some paint. Garvey maybe not liking it. They go down into turn 3. He rubs some paint back a couple of laps later, and off the track goes the 18 of Robbins. So caution out for those two. 140 complete, 60 to go. Yellow out once again. Leading is Travis Sauter.
As she started, Brian Duncan gives him the 1 lap to go signal. We will go green next time. Travis Sauter using the inside lane once again, which moves Terrio to his preferred outside groove on this restart.
Talking about Nemechek again, what did it take him to get from about, what, 26th or so for the restart at halfway up into the 4th spot? 40 green flag laps. Amazing.
Amazing to say the least. My goodness. John Hunter Nemechek, one of those future stars of short track racing, the Mooresville, North Carolina teenager. Now he's next door to 16-year-old Eric Jones, the winner of the previous Snowball Derby, as they make their way out of 4. Green flag in the air.
Back underway, a Watermelon Capital Speedway. Matt Prier and Anomaki in the booth down on pit road. Mark Keeler for this 200. Sauter back into the lead, turn 2. Terrio still fighting. Jones to the inside for the number 2 spot. A shuffle back the outside lane. A couple of positions. Jones up to 2nd. He'll battle for the lead coming off of 4. Jones a good run for the number 4.
Jones the inside of Austin Terrio. Terrio trying to make that outside groove work as he has all race long. But Jones now to the inside of Travis Sauter for the lead. They make their way through turns 3 and 4. Jones inside, Sauter on the high side.
Sauter uses the momentum coming off of turn 4, holds them off. We see single file racing to the number 5 position. There it's Chase Elliott on the inside. Now he moves up, trying for 4th to the inside of John Hunter Nemechek.
Chase Elliott looking for his 2nd win of the evening here at Watermelon Capital Speedway. Looks to the inside of John Hunter Nemechek, but Nemechek working that outside groove. Now here comes another youngster, 15-year-old Anderson Bowen. Around the outside of Donnie Wilson for 6th. He'll challenge Elliott and Nemechek for 4th and 5th.
Wilson, one of the veteran racers in the field, came from the dirt track ranks years ago. We've only known him from the asphalt ranks where he's been very solid in recent past. The number 2 of Wilson running the bottom lane just out of the top 5 with that battle for 4th continuing in front of him between Chase Elliott and John Hunter Nemechek. And it looks like Elliott might eventually be able to corral that spot, but Nemechek's giving it a great run in that 2nd lane.
With Bowen in 6th, Donnie Wilson 7th behind them. Bubba Pollard in the 26, who had to pit for a flat tire. He's battling with TJ Reed for that 8th spot, and Jake Griffin in the top 10 for the first time this afternoon. He's 10th in the 08.
He was in the top 10 very, very briefly right at the beginning of that second half of the race after the crew made some adjustments. And Anderson Bowen drops 2 tires off the track, and off the raceway he goes down towards the creek, and it looks like the car disappears. So my guess is he's lower elevation than what he was moments ago.
Yes, he is. Tough break. The 2012 Rookie of the Year, the Howie Liddell Memorial Rookie of the Year, the JEG CRA All-Stars Tour. And here comes Bowen back on the racetrack at the 29. He was up to 6. We've talked about the whole slew of future superstars in the world of short track racing, and one of those shining brightly is the number 9 of Chase Elliott that HendrickCars.com, number 9 machine. He'll start on the outside of row number 2 as Travis Sauter and Eric Jones lead him out of 3 and 4 for the green.
Jones on the outside, Sauter on the inside. They both won big late model races in 2012. We're underway. Jones, a great restart. He will lead the field off of turn number 2. Here comes Elliott to the outside. Jones, sole possession of the lead, closes the door on Sauter. Chase Elliott to the second group for the number 2 position.
Eric Jones, who earlier in this race went Bajan off the backstretch. All kinds of Georgia red clay on that black machine. He's now solidly in the lead, the number 4. Here comes Chase Elliott around the outside of Travis Sauter for second.
Chase Elliott outside, Travis Sauter inside, and now Travis Sauter's got to be wondering what just happened. I had a controlling lead for much of this race today and tonight, but now I'm back in third. I can't get up to the outside lane, which looks to be the preferred groove after this restart, as here comes Terrio, the main driver, to the outside.
149 in the books this time by Byron, Michigan's Eric Jones continues to lead the number 4. But now here comes Chase Elliott, the number 9. He's making his move as this time by we are 3/4 of the way through this event. 150 in, 50 laps to go.
And Jones looks really strong right now. Elliott is 3 car lengths back. We'll see how quickly he's able to close. He's got it down to 2 car lengths exiting 2. Up on the edge of the track is Hausler in the 19. Also slow, the 51 car of Nassi, and a car stopped up in turn 1 as well. That is the 29 of Bowen, who has gone around. His car looks to be okay, though, as he continues on. All cars are moving, but yellow out with 50 laps to go. Leading is Eric Jones, the Byron, Michigan driver, the winner of the 2012 Snowball Derby. Running second is Chase Elliott.
Mark Heeler, what do you have for us?
And the Jay Newick machine just got pushed past me. Couldn't get a word with the crew, but looking down the right-hand side, nothing but overflow from the water. So possibly, I'm going to venture a guess of an overheating problem. That's what we saw sideline Travis Brayton earlier. So a similar issue looks like for the Jay Newick number 84 car.
And I actually saw that overflow that was dried up on the right side of his car very early in the race, so it may not have gotten any better during the course if they didn't add any water. Ready to go green coming off of turn number 4. The 9 of Elliott on the inside. The leader, Eric Jones, the Byron, Michigan driver, on the outside, gets a good restart. We're back underway.
Jones, a great restart. Soundly beats Chase Elliott into the first 2 corners as Austin Terrio and Travis Sauter battling for that 3rd spot. Elliott, though, regrouping a bit, and he pulls right to the back bumper of Eric Jones coming out of turn number 4.
Side-by-side action for 3rd. Inside is Sauter. Outside is Terrio. Terrio's going to be able to get around him for the 3rd spot, I believe, but Sauter's working hard on the bottom. Terrio does clear him. Coming off of turn number 2. Running in the number 5 position is Donnie Wilson. 6th spot is Nemechek. 7th is Pollard, and contact made. Sauter goes up the track. Around goes Terrio. A couple of cars going off the track to avoid. One of those is Pollard in the 26. I don't think we're going to have much damage there, but we had some contact, some extracurricular in our top 4 positions. Mark Keeler down in the pits.
And got a good view of that one. There was some definite contact there, and that's what sent that car around. The cars that went off track, the number 2 of Donnie Wilson, the 26 of Bubba Pollard, just got kind of pushed up there. Able to keep it stopped before hitting the tire barrier here in turn 4.
Was watching Griffin on the most recent restart. Looked a little bit timid up there, as you would expect for a driver that's making one of his first major starts in super late model competition. But that's probably a good thing to do, because not being timid maybe in the first race cost him a little bit on a lot of caution flags that he was involved with in a caution-plagued race. But right now running in the 6th position, right beside the veteran driver that has had so many outstanding seasons in pro and super late models, Bubba Pollard. Ready for the green, coming off of 4 this time.
Jones on the high side, Elliott on the inside, green flag in the air. We're back underway here at SpeedFest 2013, and Elliott and Jones side by side in the turns 1 and 2. Jones with the momentum, though, on the high side, but Elliott right there in the 9.
Down the backstretch into 3. Elliott pulling forward on the inside groove. Jones trying to keep him squeezed towards the bottom. They rub some paint up the banking. They go. Elliott moves back up and uses his momentum. 8 tires better than 4 there. But Jones pulling back ahead. Now it's Elliott. Back and forth they go on the backstretch.
2012 Snowball Derby winner Eric Jones on the high side. 2012 Snowflake 100 winner Chase Elliott on the inside. They are bumping and grinding all over this 4/10 mile here in Cordele, Georgia. They are still side by side.
What a battle for the lead. They've hit the last couple of times they've entered turn 4. Will they do it again? Jones trying to hold him down. They rub some more paint up the banking. They go, and tire smoke flies. Continuing on under green. Jones working the high lane. Elliott working the inside. 154 complete. Jones drops to the bottom behind Elliott, who clears him for the lead. Elliott, though, maybe a tire going down, possibly up the banking he goes. They continue on. Maybe his car is okay.
Jones in second. Now John Hunter Nemechek in third. A trio of teenagers, 1, 2, and 3. 17-year-old Chase Elliott, your leader. 16-year-old Eric Jones, second. 15-year-old John Hunter Nemechek, rounding out the top 3.
Elliott, I thought a tire maybe going down where he was running on the raceway. He had moved up the banking into the second groove, but I think he's found something up there that Jones was using to his liking, and that's when Elliott kind of moved up the track, and they continue to rub each other, racing for real estate for a couple of laps of side-by-side, and Elliott looking for the clean sweep right now is strong. You can hear him hitting the rev chip right around the finish line each and every lap, but the car is still pulling away right now from the number 4 of Jones. 157 on the board.
They'll complete 158 this time by Elliott, Jones, and Nemechek, your top 3. Donnie Wilson is 4th, and look who's in 5th, Adam. Jake Griffin. The adventurous weekend he has had, he's in the top 5 for the first time this weekend.
Best thing that could happen for Griffin right now is for this race to stay green, avoid restarts, avoid any problems like that. He is smooth running under green at this point. He's trying to close on the number 2 of the veteran driver, Donnie Wilson, and Griffin has been impressive in the second half of the day after a very, very not so good start earlier on in the pro race.
And when Griffin looks in his rearview mirror, he's going to see NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver David Reagan, the 77 machine, who has worked his way back in the 6th spot. Bubba Pollard to 7th, TJ Reed 8th, Hunter Robbins back to 9th, and back in the top 10 to 71 at Kyle Benjamin.
Here's some race car sound coming from the pits. That means Mark Keeler has a tidbit of info.
And watching the official timing and scoring, just 3 laps after taking the lead, Chase Elliott turned his fastest lap of the race on lap 157.
And Elliott is pulling away. That car has not slowed much. He has a several car length lead on Jones. You got Nemechek running in the number 3 spot, the 8 car, running right where he was scheduled to start for the second half of the race. The car didn't refire, needed assistance. He's got a shot for at least second because he's closing quickly on the number 4 of Jones.
But up front, Chase Elliott looking to make it a clean sweep. A SpeedFest 2013 is out in front by over a second over Eric Jones, who's now got a back bumper full of John Hunter Nemechek in the number 8 machine. Donnie Wilson's had an adventurous day. He's running in the 4th spot. Jake Griffin rounding out the top 5 in a 0-8 as Chase Elliott completes lap 164.
Travis Sauter and Austin Theriault trying to work their ways forward. Theriault has worked by the 29 of Bowen. Sauter has made the inside lane pass on the 09 of Gentry. Up next to get the run from the number 5 of Sauter is the 75 of Odell.
Mark Keeler, what do you have for us down the pit road?
And another timing and scoring update, and just an interesting comparison. Chase Elliott's fast lap was on lap 157. As good as John Hunter Nemechek has been in the second half of this race, his fastest lap of the race came all the way back on lap 4.
Interesting. So he's had a good car all race long and maybe was biding his time after turning that quick lap on lap number 4, which would be tough to do because there was a lot of traffic out on the raceway at the front of the pack on lap 4. It wasn't long after a restart as we had an early caution here today. But right now, Nemechek is running 3rd behind the number 4 of Jones. If you're Nemechek here, you would like to get by Jones, and then if you get a caution here late, you've got a chance to start side by side with Elliott. You give yourself a legitimate shot of winning at that point.
With 32 laps completed, Nemechek is working on Eric Jones in the number 4 machine as they make their way down the backstretch. Chase Elliott with over a second lead over Jones, who still has that bumper full of Nemechek.
Bubba Pollard outside lane, running for about the number 5 spot. Jake Griffin, the 08 car, has dropped off the pace. I think this time it's a mechanical issue. Griffin on the bottom groove. Some problems for Griffin, but I'll tell you what, he made a big rebound in this second race today. Showed that he does have talent despite very little experience. The 14-year-old driver from Illinois. Going to see a lot of him this season. He heads to the pits. Mark, you have info on Jake Griffin.
It is a cut tire on the 08 of Jake Griffin. The crew is scrambling down here trying trying to find a replacement. He's going to pull into the pit stop.
Oh, Sauter off the track on the backstretch, trying to get her load down, and he disappears. Travis Sauter in the number 5 got off the banking, saw sparks fly when the car bottomed out, and Travis Sauter, longtime race leader of this event, has left the ballpark. Off of turn number 4, chief starter Brian Duncan waves the green again, and Elliott just bonsais that restart and jumps out front. There won't be any flying offenders or rubbing of paint, at least involving with Elliott, as he's taken the lead by 2 car lengths. Here comes Jones. He does hold off Wilson for second, and now John Hunter Nemechek for the number 3 position on the inside of Wilson.
Chase Elliott completes lap 172. 28 laps to go for Dawsonville, Georgia driver looking to make it a clean sweep of SpeedFest 2013. The battle is for third. Donnie Wilson on the outside, John Hunter Nemechek on the inside, and here comes David Reagan.
Steven Nassie off the pace. Looks like he will call it a night. Head to the pits once again. Long day for him. 173 on the board. Wilson so far holding off Nemechek for third. Reagan is in 5th. Benjamin, though, wants it. And remember, Benjamin, he got spun early on in this second half of the race. He's rallied nicely, though, getting up into the 6th spot, looking for 5th with Reagan right in front of him.
Another driver has rallied nicely is Austin Terrio, the number 29 machine. He's worked his way up to 7th. Hunter Robbins is 8th. Bubba Power is 9th. TJ Reed is 10th. Battle for 11th down to 75 with David Odell. I haven't heard his name much today as he battles with Randy Gentry.
And Eric Jones has not given up much ground to Chase Elliott after this green flag was once again displayed. Elliott does have a 3-car length lead. Jones runs him down entering the corners. Elliott, running a higher groove, is able to exit the corners and pick the car lengths back up. But out front, they have pulled away from John Hunter Nemechek, who is starting to inch forward in 3rd and does take the 3rd spot away from Donnie Wilson.
7/8 of the way through, 175 laps in, 25 laps to go. Make it 176 in for Chase Elliott in the 9. But Eric Jones got the fishing pole out now, trying to reel in the number 9 of Chase Elliott. They make their way out of turn number 2.
2-car battle front of the field, but still a few car lengths separate the two. The full moon rising on the back straightaway. Running in the 3rd spot is Nemechek. Running 4th is Wilson, and 5th is Reagan. 6th spot is Benjamin. 7th is Terrio, and Terrio wants 6th as he's all over the Benjamin 71. Running in the 8th spot, the 18 of Robinson. Terrio off the pace, exiting turn 2. Something going awry on Terrio's number 29. He looks like he's trying to get back up to speed through 3 and 4 on the front stretch. We'll find out. No, the car is still off the pace. Bad break for the Checkered Flag Foundation. Brad Keselowski Racing, number 29.
Tough break for Terrio. He had the hand out the window. He could be all done. Oh, man, Terrio led a little bit earlier in this event, but now falling way back in the field. Tough break for the Forquette main driver, but up front it is Chase Elliott. Eric Jones, 1 and 2. They will complete lap 181 this time by.
And Jones has changed his lane of racing, has moved up into the same lane that the number 9 car of Elliott is running. He runs a little bit lower in 1 and 2 than they do in 3 and 4. They're about a groove or maybe 3/4 of a groove off the bottom of the track in 3 and 4. And Jones is closing slightly, but you don't know how much Elliott's actually pushing the car at this point of the race.
Elliott, your leader. Jones 2nd. Then you got John Hunter Nemechek 3rd in the 8. Donnie Wilson is 4th in the 2. David Reagan completing the top 5 in the 77. Kyle Benjamin is 6th in the 71. Hunter Robbins 7th in the 18. TJ Reed is 8th in the 41. Bubba Pollard 9th in the 26. And Anderson Bowen now back in the top 10. He's running in the 10th in the number 29.
11th is Garvey, 12th is Gentry, 13th Odell, 14th Ellis, 15th Chiquette. Then it's Heckert, Oakley, and the 29 car of Terrio running coming off of 2 as the car still slowing on the straightaways. Just trying to hang on if he can get a caution.
Mark Keeler down on pit road. What do you have for us?
And to elaborate on what Adam Mackey was saying about what is Chase Elliott holding in his hand.
Oh, trouble. And going off the track quickly. Sorry, Mark, is the 41 of Reed going down towards the creek. We'll get back to Mark in a moment, but Reed went off of the back straightaway banking and slid all the way down at a very high rate of speed toward the creek. And it's dark enough we can't see anything down that way with a cloud of dust kicked up into the air. The track safety crew heading that way, and we are down to now 15 to go. And Jones may still have something for Chase Elliott. He wasn't giving up much ground that run. And Mark, what did you have?
So it's Chase Elliott on the outside, Eric Jones on the inside on this next restart as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. Elliott and Jones out of 4. Chief starter Brian Duncan's got the green flag in hand, and once again we're back underway.
Oh, and the number 4 of Jones spins the rear tires a little bit and then moves the number 9 car of Elliott back out front. Here comes Donnie Wilson to the outside. Nemechek running in the 4th position. Benjamin running 5th on the outside of Reagan. And up front, Elliott leads by a car length, minus a car length now, as here comes the number 4 of Jones. He closed quickly after he spun his tires on the restart. Jones is just as quick, almost got to the rear bumper of Elliott.
15 laps to go, make it 14 laps to go. This time by as Chase Elliott, your leader, Eric Jones. If he has anything left, he's going to have to show it now, as Elliott looking for the clean sweep here for SpeedFest 2013.
He had a great 1 and 2 last time, was able to close to the rear bumper of Elliott. Now he's dropped 2 car lengths back. Good run into turn 3 for Jones, back to within a car length, almost back to the rear bumper. Jones closing again on Chase Elliott with 13 laps to go. Mark.
And watching the Eric Jones car closely as it makes its way off of turn 4 each time, and the car's getting very loose. Eric Jones is pushing this number 4 Paragon Corvette reproductions machine for all it's got now here in the late stages.
That he absolutely is. The Byron, Michigan driver is again right there in Elliott's rear view mirror. One mistake and Jones could be the leader. This time by 11 laps to go, 189 complete. Jones is there. 4 car lengths back to the number 8 of Nemechek, who runs in 3rd.
Donnie Wilson running 4th spot in the number 2 machine. Battle for 5th, the 77 of David Reagan, the 71 of Kyle Benjamin. But up front, Chase Elliott leads them out of turns 3 and 4, this time by 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go for Chase Elliott.
Do we race from here to the checkered? We have not had a lot of long green flag runs today. I think around 20's been our longest. And David Reagan now running in the top 5 in the 5th spot has Kyle Benjamin, who gets a couple of tires off the track, nearly spun it, but continues on. Mark?
And we just saw the update on the computer. Eric Jones turned his fastest lap of the race on 190, and then on lap 191, 1 lap later, we made it quicker than that. So Eric Jones is fastest as he's been all day right now.
Yeah, Jones might be as quick as he's been all day, but Elliott is just putting down solid laps. He's changed his lane a little bit through 1 and 2. It's helped him get off of the 2nd corner. He pulls out to a 3 car length advantage before Jones reels him back in again in 3 and 4. We have 7 laps remaining for Chase Elliott, the Dawsonville, Georgia driver, that close, Matt, to sweeping today's SpeedFest. And with this field of drivers and these names that we've seen on the track today, that is impressive.
Impressive to say the least, as Eric Jones trying not to let Chase Elliott stray too far out in front of him. With 6 laps to go that time by, Jones dive bombs into turns 1 and 2, trying to make up the real estate. And we got, saw some smoke coming from one of the machines. Looks like it possibly the 75 of David Odell, as a caution flag will fly.
Yellow out for big time smoke on the front stretch from Odell. I think they threw the caution to check for fluid. Mark, did you see what happened down there?
Right as David Odell got in the gas out of turn number 4, from my vantage point, it looked like he hand grenaded a motor. Not sure if that car is still running. Don't have a vantage point on that, but a ton of smoke came out from underneath the front end of the 75 of Odell. He's down on pit road now. We're going to try catching up with him.
Tough break for Odell. The number 75 machine started towards the back of the field. It had gotten into the top 10 at one point this evening. Started 23rd, got into 10th, but a tough break for the Lawrenceville, Georgia driver. St. Pierre Chevrolet pace truck pulls off. Chase Elliott on the outside. Eric Jones on the inside. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
And it's a good restart for Elliott in the 9. Jones wasn't able to stay to the inside. They scoot down into 1 and 2. Everybody through the drying agent. Some cars shuffling. The 1 car of Garvey able to hang on to a loose race car. 3 wide. The 29 car of Terrio back there rubbing some paint with Gentry on the outside. But it's Elliott. 5 laps to go and a 5-car length lead at the line.
Oh, Eric Jones all kinds of sideways going into turns 1 and 2.
The 1 of Garvey goes around, got contact from the 09 of Gentry. Slowing down to avoid a spinning Gentry in turn number 2 is the 29 of Chiquette. Gentry, his car wiggled sideways, wasn't intentional, and went up and slammed the inside of the number 1 of Garvey. And those 2 cars were all sorts of out of shape for a lap or so right after the restart. We'll watch, though, as Garvey and Gentry work around the track under caution. 194 still on the board right
Ready
now.
for a restart out of 4. Keep your eye on that number 9 car.
He's able to save a little bit for when he needs it. He might go even quicker with 5 to go. Coming off of turn 4, Jones on the inside. It is Elliott on the outside. A better restart for Jones this time, but Elliott still clears him. Jones goes back to the inside. They were up 8. Up the banking goes Elliott. Jones gets hit from behind. Benjamin up on the side of Donnie Wilson. Into the lead goes John Hunter Nemechek, and yellow flag is out with 5 laps to go. Oh, the top 2 hit down in turn 1. The contact was made on the inside lane. I said that Jones had a better restart that time. He dove back to the inside of Elliott in turn 1. Elliott closed the door. The 2 made contact. Off the banking went Elliott, and then Jones got contact from behind. Afterwards, he spun, and that gave Nemechek the lead. Now, Elliott went back up in front of the field, but I don't think that's going to fly. But we have 195 complete, 5 to go, and there was the fenders flying. There was the smoke flying that I was expecting about 3 restarts ago.
Wow, just unbelievable. And here comes Eric Jones down pit road. Lights out in a Sam Pierce Chevrolet CRA pace truck. John Hunter Nemechek, your leader of the number 8 machine. He's got NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver Unadilla Georgia's David Reagan on the outside of that front row. On turn 4, green flag, we're back underway.
A little bit of rubbing between the top 2. It was a good restart for both drivers. They go down into turns 1 and 2. Reagan up the banking. Here comes Nemechek. Reagan pushes up along the outside of the track. Chase Elliott in the 9 tries to look for an opening. Still side by side for the lead. 4 to go for John Hunter Nemechek, who clears David Reagan.
Reagan now battling with Chase Elliott. Elliott to the inside of Reagan. Coming out of turn number 2, they'll battle for the 2nd spot. Behind them, battle for 4th. Mike Garvey in the 1. Jeff Choquette in the 29. Now Randy Gentry feeling racy in the 09.
197 complete, 3 to go, and Donnie Wilson in the 2. His spun will bring out the yellow. Wilson, a spin, brings out the yellow. Elliott in the 9 and Reagan in the 77 then have some contact as the yellow comes out. They continue on as Elliott had moved into 2nd. Reagan there in 3rd, and leading is Nemechek, but now it looks like Chase Elliott's going to be there to challenge him again. He might rally from back in 3rd where he was moments ago and still be able to hang on to the victory.
John Hunter Nemechek on the inside, Chase Elliott on the high side. Chief starter Brian Duggan, as he's done so many times throughout the course of the evening, waves the green flag in the air. We are back underway.
Great restart for Nemechek. He closes the door on Elliott to the inside, and we've got trouble behind him. A couple of cars off the banking. Garvey, one of those, and yellow flag is out. Wow, did Nemechek just go up and close the door on Elliott, and then problems ensued behind him. 83 of Scotty Ellis involved. He continues. Yes, a very big portion of the crowd still on hand watching the end of the race. 4 laps from the finish. The number 8 of Nemechek, the 9 of Elliott coming to the green. A better restart for Elliott. They go down into turn number 1. Elliott's car bottoming out. Nemechek fighting on the low side. Elliott inching forward, going into the lead. Nemechek sideways, 3 wide for 2nd. Reagan is there in the middle. Up the banking goes Choquette, and around goes Bowen in the 29. Yellow is out, and Nemechek will get a chance to start alongside Elliott once again. Still 196 complete. Unbelievable.
Wow, just amazing. Anderson Bowen checked up as the cars were twitching and turning in front of him. Bowen checks
And
up.
we're down here with the John Hunter Nemechek car. They got fuel in it, not able to get it refired. Still trying to push off John Hunter Nemechek as the field gets ready to take the green out of 4.
Here they come. Chase Elliott outside, David Reagan inside, back underway. Good restart for Elliott. Clears Reagan as the field heads to turn number 1. Clean and green so far to turn 2. Reagan to the rear bumper of Elliott. A little bit of contact in turn 2. They'll race to 3. Still close in proximity. Reagan to the inside of Elliott. Here they go.
Elliott on the outside. They'll make it 3 to go this time by Elliott. Slams the door going into turn number 1, forcing Reagan to back off momentarily. Jeff Choquette right there as well on number 29. David Odell, no power steering, hanging on to that 4th spot. The battle for 5th. Bubba Pollard in the 26 and Brandon Oakley in the 51.
Elliott up the banking a little bit. 2 laps to go for Chase Elliott. David Reagan, he's dropped back a car length. A lot of sparks. Tire going down on the number 9 car of Elliott. Reagan to the inside. Contact made. Around goes Elliott. Reagan into the lead. Reagan up the banking. Here comes the yellow flag as Reagan obviously also cut down a tire. Choquette takes over the lead. Oh my!
Oh my goodness. Chase Elliott contact with David Reagan. Elliott goes around, and then David Reagan goes flying off of turn 3 and 4 into the creek for the second time tonight.
Elliott's car was bottoming out. You could see sparks flying. The tire was going flat. He was losing ground in the corners. Reagan was all over him. Then Reagan got to the inside. Elliott tried to close the gap a little bit. They rubbed paint.
It is fairly safe to say the top 2 drivers, if either one of them were to go on to win this event, it would be probably one of the biggest wins of their career. Jeff Choquette's won some big shows for sure. He won what is now an ARCA Midwest Tour event over at Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa, a former champion in the old Varney Late Model Series Southern Division. But a SpeedFest 2013 win would definitely be high on Choquette's resume.
So Chase Elliott and David Reagan restarting now. Out of the top 10. Reagan actually restarting in 10th. Elliott restarting about 12th. Ready for the green. If they get a couple of more drivers to fall out in front of them, they might have their shot to get a top 5 coming off of turn 4. Green is black out. Here comes the 29 of Choquette. He takes the lead. Odell in second.
And Scott Heckert around the outside of Bubba Pollard takes over the 3rd spot. Here comes Anderson Bowen of the 29, as well as the number 1 of Mike Garvey. Garvey to the inside of Donnie Wilson. That is for the 6th spot, as mercifully the white flag comes out. 1 lap to go for Choquette.
Out of habit, it's a surprise that Duncan didn't throw the yellow. He throws the white. They go out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Leading the way, the 29 of Choquette, the West Palm Beach, Florida driver, coming to the checkered, several car lengths ahead, and Jeff Choquette wins SpeedFest 2013.
David Odell comes home in 2nd. Scott Heckert in 3rd. Anderson Bowen finishes in 4th, and Bubba Pollard rounds out the top 5.
Never have seen anything quite like this, but I'm sure Jeff Choquette is glad we saw it tonight. Choquette, the driver from West Palm Beach, Florida, claiming the big win in SpeedFest 2013. Thanks to you race fans for sticking around on a long Sunday afternoon and evening. Unbelievable. A lot of drama. Unreal finishes after Choquette changes a shock earlier. Mark Keeler, victory lane is yours.
And you know, Jeff Choquette kind of struggled a little bit yesterday with this car. They struggled earlier on today. They changed that shock there with about 50 laps remaining, but he has come down to claim the checkered flag. The safety gear is off as he gets set to make his way out of the car. The fireworks in the background. There he is, your winner of SpeedFest 2013, Jeff Choquette. Jeff, I'll let you get the helmet off there. The fireworks going off in the background over here. Plenty of fireworks on the track, of course, as well, all throughout the afternoon. A race that took more than 3 hours and 45 minutes to complete, but it is finally in the books. It is done, and once he rolls through the text shed, it will be made official. Jeff Choquette taking down the win. David Odell 2nd. Scott Heckert's out of his car in 3rd. First off, Jeff, let me ask you, as late as, say, about 5 laps to go, did you think you actually had a shot at taking down the win here?
I mean, we fought. That's the main thing. I mean, it's Adrian Carey's Let's Go Logistics team. Fought until the very, very end, and that's all that matters. I mean, it don't matter if you think you're going to win or you're going to win on lap 1. Never give up. That's our motto. That's what we stick to. I can't thank these guys enough. Jeff, Gary, and Liz back at the house. Man, it was awesome. Ryan, Corey, everybody. I mean, it just never gave up. I mean, we were down and out there for a little bit. We were on pit road changing front shocks. I just can't thank these guys enough. This is awesome.
Well, for a driver, when you're in a car in a race like this where it just seems like you're not going to even get 2 laps complete at a time. We counted almost a dozen restarts there from the lap 60 with 16 to go and on. So what goes through your mind in a race like that where it's just going to go on and on and on? Do you just kind of keep plugging away and hope that you can pull off a couple spots on a restart?
Well, for me, restarts were my good, they were my good graces that time. I was happy to see the cautions on a long run. My car kind of started fading away, but like I said, never gave up, and one thing after another happened. It was an awesome night. Adrian Carey's Liz Grow Logistics. Thank you. Sorry about what happened. That was Chase. I mean, Baylor there is. Phil Chase got roughed up a little bit, but hey, we're here in victory lane. Like I said, I can't thank my guys enough. They're awesome. I'd go race with them anywhere in the country.
Hey, congratulations coming down here from David Odell. We're going to get a word with the rest of the top 5. So, Jeff, congratulations once again. And you're one of those guys that comes from the old Speedfest at Lakeland days. So to be able to come up here to this gorgeous facility at Watermelon Capital Speedway, and now you're the winner of Speedfest 2013.
Yeah, I think it was 08. Won it at Lakeland there. Too bad Lakeland's gone, but I'm glad to come up here and keep the tradition and get 2 under my belt. Look, hopefully we can see him again next year.